Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on Discord.
This is Parker. Go by One Who Parks on Discord.
This is Jeremy. You're not going to find me on Discord. I'm kind of big deal. I'm hidden. Discord.
And this is Aaron. I go by Treffenwood on Discord.
Jeremy, the only man with a blue checkmark on Discord.
Damn it!
Mostly due to his COVID reports.
Oh, fuck.
Anyway.
Truth. Only truth. Never lies.
God damn it, you guys gotta get us reported again.
No, Jeremy already said COVID 3 times. I already know we have a blue banner.
COVID's not
Parker,
real.
You're down to 3,097 Frasier episodes. God, I hope I talked over that because I don't really need to get banned from fucking... Alright, cool. We're just gonna leave that there.
just let it sit there. It's smoldering. Because the one thing that we're big on is telling only truth and facts.
Mm. I know it's true. I read it on truefacts.com.
Will you fuckers stop going down this slippery fucking
I saw it on a YouTube video once. It's fine.
Oh, we can definitely talk about conspiracy theories if you want.
No, don't do that.
Learned.
Alrighty. Pretty much no other announcements as usual. We got our Patreon link and our partners links in the show notes. Parker, is there anything else we got today?
We got some news.
Hey, news.
So, all of our news today.
News.
What is this?
News.
Is this
No, I'm just going to do that the whole time so that way you know it's
Jesus.
the news.
God. Okay. It's like our little ticker tape underneath the conversation, underneath the. Okay, good.
It's like the breaking news, like music is me saying news.
Yeah, but that usually fades. Okay.
Nope. News.
So the Warrior Falls, Wakadada and Rivals box. We have information about it. First off, and the most important news to me personally, is we have a release date, and the release date does not end in 23, which means I did not lose a bet. There are not, in fact, 4 Wakandan leaderships in 2023. There are only 2 Wakandan leaderships in 2023, which means I lose some probationary episodes. Finally.
And losing is good for you, just to clarify.
Yes, I want less. I want less probationary episodes. And
Okay,
I am so...
So you're officially here saying that you lose.
Episodes. Episodes. I won a bet, which never happens. I'm going to be looking at the moon, wondering if there are frogs falling from the sky, that kind of shit. But I did. I did lose episodes. So, what was the bet? I have here on the screen.
Oh, so the bet was 400 of your episodes versus gaining 1,600.
Okay.
That there would be less than 4 Wakandan leaders in the year of our Lord 2023.
So I think that means I go sub 3,000.
Well, see, now we're going to have a quorum here because these
What?
leaderships were published prior to 2024.
I see you quibbling.
Looks like
right
you're
there,
going to
but
prison.
We did not. I see your quibble there, but there was an episode I remember distinctly where
now,
Aaron
you
said,
can correct me, is the Wakandan leaders legal in TTS?
God, no.
Oh, okay. Just confirming.
I feel like this is one of those situations of infinite monkeys on infinite typewriters writing a novel. Parker won a bet.
I did. And
eventually it was going to happen, right?
And that's the end of our podcast. Parker won a bet.
And
that was it. It's over.
Kaboom.
There's a fun quote in I can't remember what movie or TV show it's in, but there's basically a math teacher talking about the concept of infinity and how cool it is. And he's like, just imagine this: if you took an infinite series of numbers and then you converted those numbers into letters using an equation. Within that series of letters, there would be every single piece of literature ever written in perfect letter organization within that series of letters that is made from the series of numbers.
Yeah.
He's like, that's how unimaginably large, like, the concept of infinity is. I was like, that's a really cool way to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so the fact that Parker won a bet, that's really reasonable when you think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Within infinity, it's possible.
Yeah, within infinity, there's one.
I'm sure there's people that weren't even participating that have won bets on Parker's behalf somewhere else, not speaking the same language, that never even heard of the podcast.
All right, Parker.
If anyone has been winning bets on my behalf, please give me the episodes. I would appreciate that.
Please call into the show.
Please.
We'll have a number posted.
Please tell someone I care.
Tell someone.
Tell anyone. That feels so good. So I'm at 2,697. Oh, my back is lighter. I feel like I have space between my vertebrae now.
Okay, now just keep in mind that we are going to enforce the shaved head now upon getting back to 3,000.
This is
we already let you skate once. We let you skate once on the 2,500, so we're going to hard enforce that on 2,500.
Yeah. Anyway.
I would also like to officially announce, that way there's no takesies backsies. Parker sleeping through any more episodes will result in immediately going back to 3,000.
Okay. I'll take that. I'll stop falling asleep.
Okay, that's fair.
I think I fell asleep once ever, and it was exactly on the last one. So let's go.
You know this is going to happen, because if you do sleep through the episode, then there's a high chance that you'll fall asleep some point after that, and then I'll shave your head while you're asleep.
Interesting.
First, you will be swatted.
Interesting
possibility.
First you'll be swatted.
We will watch you
and then
wake
while
up.
in jail, I will pay the jailer to shave your head.
I know I'm old when you say swatted, and I picture somebody coming to my house and like
paddling you,
just like whacking me with just the tips of their fingers, which is what I imagine like a swat feels like.
Yeah. It's going to be kind of.
I have a feeling it's going to feel worse than that.
It doesn't feel exactly. Swatting is not that, children. It's not.
It's like the end of Vegas. It's the end of Christmas Vacation, where they come plowing through your windows and shit.
Yeah. We got some Wakandan Tactics cards. The very first Wakanda Tactics card we got is called Synthetic Heart-Shaped Herbs. It's an unaffiliated card. It's an active card. In Jidaka, so that's any Killmonger, can spend 1 power.
No.
Oh,
no.
What?
Killmonger's name is Eric Killmonger. Isn't it?
Oh, what?
Yeah. Isn't it? I thought it was.
No.
You're good. It is in Jidaka. I thought it was Eric Killmonger on the card. I don't know why I thought that. It's definitely wrong.
Yeah, it's in Jidaka. In Jidaka, may spend. I'm sorry, you thought a person's name. I guess it is the Marvel Universe.
He goes by Eric.
Yeah. In Jidaka, may spend 1 power to play this card. He gains the Poison Special condition, and then he gains also a superpower. For 3 costs, the Panther's power allows him to throw a terrain feature or enemy character size 3 or less within 2 short. Basically, it just gives him a throw of character or terrain.
Yeah.
For 3 cost.
Oh wow, this is permanent. That's cool, right?
Yeah, permanent.
It seems
poison
permanent.
is not permanent, of course.
You just gain it. Yeah, that's cool.
It is yours. Yep. For 1 power and poison. So if you can find a way to throw off the poison, it only costs 1 power. It kind of costs 2 if you 2 or more if you keep poison on you.
Yeah, because you could first turn, you could like play it, advance, shake poison.
Yes.
But yeah, you still need 3 power at some point. I think the poison's an interesting touch because it's something you have to work past because of the effect is strong, I think.
Especially because it costs 3 and you want him to have power.
Yeah. Cool. All right, Aaron, do we have a trash scale on this guy?
Unfortunately, not a well thought out one. We're going to go straight 0. For 2 reasons. One, it's a great ability. However, it's significantly costed, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I don't know is how new Killmonger is going to spend that power. Old Killmonger would have hated this card. I think this is trash with old Killmonger. Because I can't imagine a time when my Killmonger has a bunch of extra power lying around and nothing to do with it. Like, getting power on Killmonger is key so you can play Usurp and Charge and Spender, all those things Killmonger wants to do. So if I look at Usurper real quick.
Same builder.
And he has a lot of 2-cost powers that he'd like to do.
Yeah, Untamed Forest and Pounce are both great. Yeah. The difference here is new Killmonger. I'm not sure okay, I lied. I was going to say I didn't like his Spender, but you can make it more than 6 dice, in which case it's pretty good. Yeah, we're going to go with straight neutral. It's a great ability, but I'm not sure it actually fits with what you're going to want either Killmonger to be doing, which is beating face. So, there's my initial hack.
I don't know if... Because this does absolutely add to his ability to beat face, right? But specifically, he is a mobile character, right? Both versions of him have pretty good mobility. And the action economy, right? And this actively lowers his action economy. It trades action economy for a higher damage ceiling on a single activation. So it's just the ceiling, right? Because you have to get him 3 power. So you have to kind of spike that roll if you played this card. So it is interesting. It turns him into a more static character, but a higher damage ceiling. So do you want that? Is that? Are we excited to play that? I guess is that where your zero's coming from, Aaron? You don't know if you want to turn your Killmonger into that.
Right. So I think it's exactly. Well, I don't even think it. I don't think it has anything to do with action economy. I would only use that if I already had the power to pounce, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I imagine you don't want to play it until you're ready to use it, because poisoning yourself early in the game seems dumb.
Right, which means the first time you play it, it's going to cost 4. I mean, you could play it under
effectively,
Strucker for shenanigans.
I mean, you could play it on the turn you think you're going to get dazed as well, and then it won't matter that you got poisoned.
This is true.
Obviously, Spirit of Wakanda makes this a lot more live, because you can just go in on turn 2, basically.
Spirit of Wakanda does make this a lot more live, because you can play it on turn 1, like you said, move, shake, and then on turn 2, you've got, either the charge or the pounce, and if you get any damage off your builder, you're probably also throwing. That does supercharge it. So
I don't think you shake the poison. I think you just double move on one, get an attack if you can, but likely he won't be able to. You could throw your armament for a gainer sometimes. But I think it's more important to get into position. Mm-hmm. And so then on turn 2, you just pounce in, immediately play this after your builder if it gives you enough power to actually use it. Use it and then hit somebody else or something. I think you wouldn't play it on 1 because you're just going to end up shaking poison when you don't need to shake poison. You just accept it that you have poison. But you can't poison yourself on turn 1 because then you're losing the power or you're losing the action. I think you just wait till you're ready to actually pounce.
It's an interesting card.
Not pounce, sorry. Throw.
It's the best superpower in the game, just about being able to just attach it to a guy, but it takes a tactics spot. So it's like, okay, which one of the cards are you going to not take? I mean, it's so stacked already, especially Wakanda. It kind of has the auto includes, plus is there even a spot?
Well, it's unaffiliated, though, so this could go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could put it on him in Cabal.
That's true. Cabal does need a character like
with Red
that.
Skull 1. Mm-hmm. It also takes Wakanda's best model that didn't have board manipulation and give him board manipulation.
Or you can take him in an affiliation that just removes effects, right? Like, you don't even take that effect.
Like, you do an Asgard Winter Guard? Pinky up, Winter Guard?
He would never fight with them.
I said I didn't like it on Killmonger 1, but I might.
I think I actually do like it. You just stop spendering and start throwing.
Yeah. I definitely have to test it out. So I'm going to stick by my 0. It's intriguing. It's definitely not a negative, but...
The biggest issue being that it's on a character that already has 1 card it likes to play. And so you almost have to give up that second card.
And I'd already been giving up that second card.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, for lots of reasons.
You're probably giving it up, though, because you needed a tactic slot.
Nope. I found that it was useless in 50% of the games I brought it.
Yeah.
Because so despite the fact that it could tilt one game super hard, it was like a dead card in 50%, and it just couldn't justify the spot in the 5.
Okay.
So I took it out of my 10.
This is definitely going to be a much more consistent card than Usurp the Throne. It's going to be more consistent.
Yeah. You just have to decide, is it Black Ops Strike or is it a throw?
Mm-hmm.
Black Ops Strike obviously being range 3 and stagger is a huge deal. And that's kind of core to Killmonger 1's kit. So if you replace that with this card, is that a viable character you would want to play? I don't know. To be determined. Anyway, what's next?
Kaliluna's Glory. It is an attack card that either Killmonger can play if he spends 3 power. Another way to spend 3 power to do some sort of spinner type thing. Only this one's called Vengeance of the Betrayer God. At range 3, it gives you 7 dice, and after the attack is resolved, the target character loses power equal to the damage dealt. For each power lost this way, an allied character anywhere may gain 1 power. So think of this kind of like a penance stare that has less dice. It is mystic. So it's a range 3, 7 dice penance stare that literally gains you power. So you want to talk about a crazy power economy play. We talked about how penance stare by itself kind of makes Ghost Rider playable because of that crazy power economy thing. This does something similar.
So
and on
it's
top
actually
of that,
better
power.
than that, yeah, because you
It
get
is
it on
much better.
any allied character,
including
it doesn't
him.
have to be. Yeah.
So if you wanted to play Kilaluna's Glory and the new synthetic heart-shaped herbs, you're not actually choosing to do both. Like if you get some damage, you'll actually get it back for your spender or give it to another character.
So I've got a couple rules questions, Aaron.
Oh shit! Go ahead.
First of all, does this prevent them from gaining power for the attack?
Ooh, I want to say no, but let me see how.
I believe the answer is no, because this is an after the attack effect.
Yeah. Which would also... This is a horrible card.
Hold on.
Oh my god.
It's got several key things about it because of that. So first off, it doesn't prevent them from gaining power, which means that they're guaranteed to theoretically have the power equal to the damage you dealt in a normal situation, which means that you can't I had 0 power when you hit me, so therefore I have 0 power after, so I don't lose any power. That's not likely how it's going to happen. The issue being that if the attack kills them, nothing happens because you can't lose power if you're dazed.
Yep.
So this has a big asterisk next to it, and I have a strong feeling people are going to play it wrong.
Yeah, they're going to play it. They're going to play it like Ghost Rider, and it's not.
I have a strong feeling they fucked up when they wrote the card, and they're going to have to change it.
I don't think they did.
You think it's correct that way?
I think it has to be correct that way. Because then it would be an effect happening in the damage step. So you'd be interrupting their daze effect to make them lose power. That'd be super weird.
Well, if this is written correctly, this is like a -8. This is so fucking bad.
Now, it is a 7 dice mystic attack at range 3 that... Oh, it does require an action.
Yeah.
Never mind. I was like, well, it doesn't require an action. No, it does.
No, it's an action.
Okay,
so
never mind.
It is literally this or his normal spender at the exact same range, exact same dice, without the stagger trigger.
Better effects.
But you get mystic. And you might give power to someone else. That's horrible.
This is not a good card. It's interesting in situations, but those are rare situations, I think, because now we're talking about a situation where the character has to not be stunned, have a high health pool, be weak to mystic, preferably. You have to actually deal damage with this attack, and then you get to hand out some power.
Oh, it'd be great if you just start off and you do 8 of 9, damage to Cosmic Ghost Rider. Leave him on 1. That's like your ceiling.
It is really nice.
Wait, what?
I see this being really strong on injured characters, right? Because a lot of injured characters start out with a ton of power and a pretty big health pool. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. They will not be stunned because they just flipped over.
Why do you need them to have high power?
Because it's
equal
power...
to the damage. It's equal to damage dealt. So you just dealt that damage to them. They're gonna have that power.
No, but I would say this is the best case scenario because if they're on 10 power, then you will deal 5 damage to them.
Oh, I see.
They won't gain any power, and then they'll lose 5 power.
Mm-hmm.
So, the best case scenario to use this card is your Killmonger 1, you daze them so you get a reroll token, so you're about to use this on them at the top of the next activation. So before they get to activate and spend all that power you just gave them for dazing them, you do some damage to them with this, and they lose power, and you might gain power then to do a spender, and then you finish them off. So that would be or if you fail to finish them off, they have less power. So that is the situation. I think it's a finisher card for characters on their backside, and I think that is the most efficient way to use it. I'm just making the best case for it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a great card.
I think it's better to be used in place of his spender, because you hit him with the builder first, make sure you have enough power to use this card, which probably won't be an issue. But then you get to add in the 2 dice for you hitting them a second time. So it ends up being a 9-die mystic with a reroll in that situation.
I
don't hate that. That's actually pretty good.
It is not nothing. I think it's supposed to be a finisher on a character's backside because of the way the health works out. But like you said,
then the
there's still a
power
lot of
gain.
things.
Yeah, the power gain is way less relevant later in the game. So like after people are getting dazed, it's interesting. I don't think it's a bad card. I just don't think it's a good card either.
-8.
Whoa!
I think that's a little harsh. He's just sticking to his guns. He said -8 earlier.
I did.
Fucking
trash.
I'm glad I noticed the after the attack effect trigger
too.
and not the other one.
Jesus,
all right,
-8.
What's next?
I'll try not to be shocked.
Well, also, like, but if you don't notice the active action format, like the new type of card, this card could be played completely differently. Because at first I didn't realize it was an action. And then secondly, Aaron didn't realize that they gained power from the attack. And so, like, this card's going to get played wrong all the time.
Oh, yeah, this card is... Somebody's going to play this exactly like Ghost Rider. Yeah, it's going to be terrible. Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Trial by Combat. It's a Wakandan card, active. Any allied Wakandan character with an active leadership ability may play this card during its activation. Choose an enemy character with an active leadership ability within range 3 of the character that played this card. The chosen character and the character that played this card roll dice equal to their remaining stamina. The leadership ability of the character that rolled fewer crits, hits, and wild results becomes inactive for the rest of the round. So, TLDR, you can nullify a opponent's leadership with a contested roll of health.
So you want to know my hot take?
No, I don't. Moving on.
Actually, I want to know Jeremy's hot take. Jeremy's been awful quiet. I want to know what he thinks of Trial by Combat.
I think it's an interesting format of a card, a tactics card. This is a brand new kind of thing. As for if it's good or not, I have no idea. I don't know.
I think we could say how good it is, but I do agree that it is a cool concept.
The dream scenario we've been coming up with is you're playing against criminals. You use your leadership the entire round because if you fail the roll, you lose your leadership. So you use your leadership for the whole round, doing your rerolls or whatever leadership you happen to be using. And then as the last of your activations, you double move your leader up next to Kingpin, and you roll the dice, and you have Heimdall on the table, which lets you re-roll 2 of them, and you just try to Yahtzee him and lose his leadership for the end of the round.
It's an anti-Kingpin card.
An anti-Kingpin card. It's pretty funny. I don't know if it's good, but it's a powerful effect, obviously, and it's a unique effect, like Jeremy pointed out. So it's clearly going to have long repercussions in the game, even if it doesn't get played, because the fact that that's now in play is going to be interesting. Like, I want to see like what happens when you just like get priority against Sam, and you're like, "Fuck your leadership." You're like, "Oh shit."
Also, new T'Challa hits like a goddamn truck. You know, he is the tip of the spear. He will fly across the table and drop your health really fast.
So that's part of the issue. It's like, why don't you just kill their leader then? If you're playing this Apex model, like, why don't you just kill them?
Well, I guess you would do this on the. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you can't target somebody who's dazed, right? This card,
right?
Correct.
You can't daze their leader and then remove
you can't
it. That
daze
is
them
fucking stupid.
So you have to stab them so hard you don't kill them, and then
if
you do that,
can do it,
right? And then you roll like your hopefully like 6-ish dice against their 1 or 2-ish dice, and again, still luck. You know, it's still a chance you fail and lose your own leadership. So it is a bad card. However, there is, because specifically they have some. You know, this faction has some leaders that are absolutely capable of flying across and stabbing things. Like, they are uniquely positioned to get some work done, or rather use this card a little bit more easily than some affiliations might. But it's still such a Rube Goldberg for what benefit?
So how about this? Everyone go around and say which leadership ability you think this is best used against.
That's not Kingpin.
I already said Kingpin. But you guys feel free to duplicate if you want.
Steve Vengers.
Steve Vengers, interesting.
That's a kick in the balls.
Definitely,
Ooh.
if you get prio against him, it's pretty awesome because you can do it before you attack them, which then means that they don't get the cheap discount on bodyguard. It's pretty cool.
That'd be sweet.
Anybody else?
I'd need to look at a list real quick. None of them come to mind.
Just throw something out.
I don't fucking know.
All right, he says Kingpin. All right, Parker.
I say any of the like consistently reactive stuff throughout the turn, maybe like A-Force or A-Force is just it's not good enough. Like,
What?
A-Force
Hold
is
on.
not good
Hold on.
enough.
I want you to
He
roll.
rolls 20
into
dice.
Shields 20 fucking dice.
It's not going to work.
But you got Heimdall, remember?
It's a bad idea.
I think you've got this.
It used to be Storm. It used to be Storm, right? But it's not anymore.
Storm's not bad. I don't know if it's the most important leadership, but it is nice, especially when they're like planning on that hop. A fun one is Wong running convocation leadership is pretty cute.
Ooh! I got one. I got
Go
one.
ahead.
It's specifically against Wakandan's style is Furies, because Furies allows you to everybody gets aggressive. You're like, no, everybody doesn't have aggressive. Now I'm going to push you all around with all my pushy shit because they have so many pushing attacks. So like that,
Interesting.
With specifically Wakandan not liking Furies leadership, I think that one might be one they would care about.
Okay.
Daredevil.
So Daredevil's a solid one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's the worst leadership to try and use it against? Aaron already pointed out She-Hulk's pretty bad. I'm going to go with Dormammu because first of all, his leadership happens in the control phase.
Yeah.
And then secondly, he's got fucking 10 or 12 health. So
I'm going to go with Star-Lord.
Yep.
Star-Lord. Okay. Similar.
Star-Lord's pretty bad. I'm going to go with Red Skull, Master of Hydra, because that happens during the control phase as well.
How does that even... Does it just not work against Star-Lord? I think by their ruling, it wouldn't do anything because they've already argued that the tokens have the rules.
I think that's
But
correct.
are they saying that the rules have been removed because it's part of his leadership?
It says the leadership becomes inactive.
That just means the trigger to put the tokens down wouldn't work anymore.
I think I agree with that. I think I agree with that, which is why I said Star-Lord would have no effect to take away his leadership mid-turn.
See, this is a perfect example of how bad that ruling is.
Well, also how bad this card is.
Oh, it also prevents you from playing versatile leadership. Versatile strategy. Stop you from playing versatile strategy because you don't currently have an active leadership.
Yes.
Which is hilarious. Oh, no. There's other cards that require an active leadership, too. Soldat Activate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Requires an active leadership. You're like, nope, you don't have an active leadership. That's hilarious.
Your Soldat is no longer active.
I cannot wait for the rulings on this card. It's going to be so fun.
So there's like 4 people it would work against. Everyone else is a horrible.
No, yeah, this is a super niche card, but as leaderships continue to come out, this is going to be a long-term thing.
I've got one that could be interesting and useful that we haven't mentioned yet because it just happens to be popular right now, which is Black Bolts. Being able to turn off Inhuman leadership could be interesting, but doing it on his backside is fucking hard because he has so much health.
Well, yeah, you'd want to do it on the front side, though.
Yeah.
And that means you've got to go early, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that means you're within 3 of Black Bolt. How is your Wakandan leader not just fucking dead after they play this card? If I'm playing Black Bolt, I'm like, oh, you double moved and took away my leadership. I guess we'll just eat you instead?
Aaron, I don't think you understand. I am selling out to play Trial by Combat every game, no matter what. I don't know how anybody can stop me.
Yeah, if he's got Prio with Black Panther, it's actually pretty easy. He just last activation double moves, starts Prio, immediately plays the card, maybe punches you once, plays the card, and then moves away or pounces. Or like that's pretty easy to get that card played.
Okay.
It's still a total sellout for a shitty effect. I'm not. This is heavy.
No, that's the problem. It's like,
I think from now on, everyone needs to only have 4 tactics cards plus this one in their list.
Yeah, even though they're not
chase each other around trying to fuck each other. Just
if this became an unaffiliated card tomorrow, I still think
nobody would play it. No, Malekith would play it. He's like, fuck your leadership.
I think he just kills the leader. Like, that's the thing.
You kill the guy next to the leader, and then you play it. Okay. No, it actually would be perfect for Malekith.
Although, Jeremy, I really like your position at the very beginning, which is any time that you have to roll contested dice in a game, me personally, I think it's fun. I like it. Just as long as the effect, like this one, I think is probably gauged correctly. If the effect is not too ridiculous, I like contested roll stuff. I think it's fun, especially with this one because you're doing it with health, so it's not a standard stat like defense or something like that. I can manipulate it. I can do things to mess with it and make it stacked in my favor. I think it's a cool concept. I hope they do more things like this.
I'm always happy when they come out with a new idea in the game, like this whole you can turn a leadership off. Oh, okay, that's cool. And it's not just add 1 die, add a reroll. Like, okay, that's really not interesting anymore.
But then what will Aaron play?
But what would we do? I like things interesting, like damage reduction 2 on all my models.
Yeah.
Something really fun, like can't move
brilliant.
or can't do anything.
But what if my models had 4 physical resistance and damage reduction and 7 hit points?
Yeah.
And got to reroll 1 die when attacking and defending.
What's that card do? I don't care.
All right, what's next? We got the last one.
Yep. Bast's Blessing. The T'Challa. Any T'Challa can play this for 3 power and action. It allows him to do a mystic attack called Power of the Mother God. Range 3 with 6 dice. Before damage is dealt, place this character within 1 of the target character. On a double wild trigger, he gets Hunter's Joy. He chooses an enemy character within 2 of the target, and then makes an additional Power of the Mother God attack targeting the chosen. So basically it's a cleave effect on a double wild.
And it doesn't lose that ability.
Yes, it does not lose that ability, meaning it can continue to Hunter's Joy if you continue to get double wild. Which works specifically well with M'Baku, right? Because is M'Baku's once per turn?
I think it is.
So you might get an additional trigger if M'Baku is your leader. I'm looking it up now.
No, you can change them to a hit, not to a wild.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's not wild too. I'm thinking of Cap. I'm thinking of Cap 3.
You need Cap 3.
Yeah. There's so many guys with these abilities now where it's see a die, turn a die, see a die, turn a die, but they're not equal.
Yeah. Only Steve gives an extra special effect.
Yeah. So you'd have to spend 4 power to get Steve to trigger just once. It seems probably not good enough for
also,
that. But
can't play it because it's a Wakandan only card.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
So I actually think this card is possibly the best of the 4. That doesn't say a whole lot.
Wow.
Even over synthetic heart-shaped herbs? Really?
I gave that a 0, so this one's going to be like a low positive. It's going to be like a 3.
Okay.
So
why?
Yeah.
Why is it so low or why is it so high?
Why is it
so high?
Because there's an actual play pattern that makes sense with it.
Okay.
So what if you wanted to make an attack that didn't push people away with Black Panther? 1. What if you're playing on, I don't know, Researcher, and there's a bunch of people together? What if you were able to roll 6 dice instead of 5 with full rerolls, hunting for your double wilds with a Shuri nearby? Like, I think those situations make the card worth playing. How many times do those situations come up in the game? Well, it depends on the game, obviously, but in a 5 or 6 game span, I'm not sure. But I could definitely see this making my 10 at least to begin with, and then seeing how often it gets used. But 6 dice with full rerolls, and that's why you play this with Panther 1, because you want Mantle the Black Panther, because this does work with that. That's my reasoning. Go ahead, shoot me down.
Soft disagree. I don't think you're wrong in your take. I think the line of logic is sound. I just don't see this card being that valuable, but I could be wrong. I honestly, if you had told me to rate them independently before we talked, I probably would put this 4th. But it's mostly just because I think they're all very samey. Like, there's not one that really stands out as obviously the best. The 2 strong effect ones are obviously very costed, and one of them is hard to pull off. The 2 attack cards seem pretty samey, but I actually would say that the Killmonger one seems a bit better. But that's only because he can reliably put 9 dice into a mystic attack that gains power for his team. The Hunter's Joy thing, like 6 dice to double wild, even with Mantle, It's still pretty unlikely, but it's probably relevant.
My problem with it is, let's say I don't get the best roll. I get like wild hit, and so I reroll dice that aren't skulls, and I get wild hit, or like, so I got 3. I got Hitter's Joy. Great, you block 2. I did 1, and so then I do another 6-die attack. It's the other guy next to me, and I roll 1 wild and 2 hits. I reroll, no more wilds. Cool. It's still just like 2 6-die attacks, right? It's just not.
I mean, it's potentially very good with the fact that he's rerolling all dice.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I don't think
the
it's
fact that it costs
bad.
a tactics slot is really what's getting it for me. I like that he actually gets to place one, because if you're in a weird, like, you just took a bunch of damage, got like thrown away, and you woke up and you're like, okay, I got 10 power Black Panther, let's go. It's like, this card's actually really good in that situation, because it lets you close the gap to immediately start pouncing. You can mantle first, and maybe you'll get lucky and trigger a Hunter's Joy, or maybe even 2, and then maybe do a big kinetic burst into the pile of them after you get there. Like, the potential is there, but I just feel like it's not going to happen often enough to justify the tactics card is the only reason I'm not excited about it.
I could buy that. Without any Shuri rerolls, the possibility for a double wild, assuming you don't reroll hits, or successes rather, is 21%.
And that's just straight up 6 dice with the full...
6 dice reroll any. If you add some Shuri into there, it gets to...
That seems high.
25%. Well, I can't argue with math.
Yeah.
And again, that's not rerolling stuff. So again, I look at Hunter's Joy triggering as a
fun outside
pure
chance.
Benefit, right? That's the ceiling of the card.
If it didn't have Hunter's Joy, you'd still be interested?
Not as much. So the chance, a 20 to 25% chance of another 6-die reroll all attack is really good. So it has to be on the card for it to be worth it. Let's put it that way. For me to include the card in my 10, I think it needs that. But I could see using this for the extra mobility it gives. Like, sometimes I don't want to have to pounce just to get within range 2. I'd like to pounce into you. Like, oh, this one lets me place next to you and then pounce into you. So it could be a damage multiplier in that respect. So I still think it's totally fine if Hunter's Joy isn't on the card. I do agree with you. It's in the wrong affiliation, because Wakanda is already so strapped for cards. The card itself, I think, is good. I think it's going to have a hard time making the 5.
I honestly feel like it's going to have a hard time making the 10. We talked about, though, it doesn't do bad stuff. Like, it's not like it's a bad card. It's just in a, card hungry faction. Same thing. If this card came out in Brotherhood, it's like, you're like, with Sabretooth, you're like, I don't care. Like, I literally don't care. Like, there's too many cards already. Anyway, yeah. Jeremy, what do you think?
Just more Wakanda stuff. I'm honestly, I don't care that much. I'm not excited.
Jeremy's never been more excited.
One time, just not recently.
Just one time.
To me, it's kind of weird because Wakanda do you think this is kind of like when referees in games make kind of a bad call early in the game, and so they just kind of like
the makeup card,
slow pitch the rest of it for that team. Like, oh shit, we went too hard. We're gonna back off and give these guys freebies. I feel like this is kind of what happened to Wakanda, because they have some just absolutely over the top power spike tactics cards that are just for them, and I feel like all 4 of these are so mid that I feel like it's almost some sort of like, yeah, we're sorry we keep printing out Wakandan cards that are over the fucking top, so we'll go ahead and just make 4 of them that you probably will never see on a competitive table. They're not bad, but they're just not. They're not even close to the curve.
Yeah, I got what you're saying, but I don't really feel that way. I think they were in the mindset here of, let's just make cards that are very thematic around these 2 characters, because that's the whole point of the rival box. The last rival box we got didn't have that necessarily. Like, it had a little bit of it with like Happy Birthday Runt and all that stuff, but it was mostly about making Weapon X an affiliation, and so a lot of the cards were more centered around the Weapon X than it was about Wolverine and Sabretooth. The box before that was only reprints, and so they didn't get an opportunity to do anything special. So I think they really wanted to make this box feel like this is all about the rivalry between these two leaders of Wakanda. And so I think that's all they were worried about. I don't think they were worried about making Wakanda good or bad. I think they were worried about making these characters feel iconic, if that makes sense.
I see that. And
generally speaking, character-specific cards do not usually end up being meta cards. That's just kind of the way it works. Because they're normally very much about making a character good and not helping your team.
That's true. If you want to spice up your favorite characters, those are good cards for that.
Alrighty. Do we have any other news today?
That's the news that I know, unless somebody else wants to hit me with some.
Nope. That's all I had. All right. So, for people that didn't know, over the weekend we had a small get-together at the Geekery. Some of us called it a team-up tournament.
It was quaint.
Aaron refused to be on my team, so I decided to team with Parker of my own volition, and not because he insisted.
I kind of stood next to you, raising my hand like that kid in the class, and just kind of jump up and down. And
I was like, all right, does anyone want to be on my team? And then Parker raised his hand. I was like, anyone at all.
Yeah, anybody.
Literally, anybody can be on my team.
Me. Ooh. I'm like holding my arm with the other arm because it's getting tired.
Yeah. And much like when they, was it table salts made of, the two most toxic substances known to man, but it works. It's like, that's basically what happened. It was either going to absolutely kill both of us or we were going to win. That was the only way it could end.
Well, I think we came up with a really good scheme, which is we collaborated together on the lists. We were very satisfied with it.
We had very similar opinions going in. Parker was like, I want to play wizard stuff and defenders. And I was like, yeah, and I want to play Kingpin with webs. So, we're right there right now.
Yeah.
So,
we were super eye to eye.
Yeah. But the one thing we settled on was Doctor Strange is fun. So we were like, let's just put all the Doctor Strange stuff in a list. And so we played Double Convocation with Hydra and Dark Dimension. It's super relevant. Very important.
Hydra and Dark Dimension was our key strategies.
Yeah, it was very important. Effectively, though, what we ended up playing was the Convocation list I was playing recently, which was the what if we took MODOK and Ultron 2 in Convocation. But when you add an additional 4 points to it due to the format, because it's team up, you get 4 extra points. The list goes from interesting and fun to very good, I think. Because the real problem with the list was that you were just a little thin on model count. Because it's not a tall list necessarily, but it's also not a wide list. But yeah. Aaron, what did you play in the team up tournament?
Jason and I wanted to put Captain Marvel 2 on the table for the first time, just kind of see how she worked. So we thought Inhumans would be a good place to play her. So we played Inhumans with Marvel 2.
Cool.
And I don't really want to talk about how that went.
That good.
Jeremy, what did you play?
Me and Kenny, we played Guardians, and the idea was essentially to field double Ghost Rider or Cosmic Ghost Rider and Hulk in every game and just kill people. That's what we did.
Very nice. All right. So rounds. Round one, myself and Parker played against 2 of our semi-locals from Ottawa. They were good opponents. I'm drawing a blank on what they played, though.
It was straight up Guardians.
Guardians, that's right.
Guardians plus Ghost Rider. But it was OG Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
And Guardians.
I remember the game. I just didn't remember what they were playing. Our Ultron 2 had the game of games. He had the best activation I've ever seen in Ultron have.
I would say the game of games. He had the activation of activations.
He had the healthy side of games. Because he was poopy as shit on the backside.
He was absolute dog shit.
On the front side, he was God mode Ultron. It was so funny. What was it? He activates... first thing he does is he does the blast attack into Nebula and just straight KOs her, I think. Because he dazed her the turn prior. Then he does the spender, throws their Ghost Rider into their other model. I can't remember who it was.
I think it was a Groot.
Was a Groot, yeah. So Groot gets hit by Ghost Rider. Then the explosive force and collision ends up killing the Ultron bots, so they explode, dealing yet more damage. And
Oh
then,
no, it wasn't into the group. We threw him into the bots. That's what it was.
Yeah, we threw him into the bots, and
Yeah.
so the bots die and does the damage back, and so the spender ends up basically dazing him, and then he doesn't advance. He just that's what it was, because his shot killed Nebula. He did Wicked Judgment into us, and then because we were playing Convocation, he got the leadership bump forward in the middle of his activation, and then he was in line to throw the size 4 into somebody else. So he throws the size 4, resummons the bots automatically. And they like bow somebody out of play. It was so stupid. He had the best activation ever. But yeah, that game was actually really close at the end. We ended up getting it on time, but they were actually in a pretty good board state.
Their Ghost Rider went ham, and with his 2 actions and nothing else, dazed 3 characters.
Yeah,
just like
he did a beam. The beam dazed 3 people.
Yeah, it was the dumbest I've never seen.
They were not injured. They were not hurt at all. They just straight full deaded 3 people with a 5-dice beam.
What was really crazy is that he did it to the health on all but one. He overkilled us by 1 on one of the attacks.
Yeah,
just like
I sacrificed one of them off of somebody because I was worried that they were going to die, and then
through a sacrifice, he did this.
Yeah. And so then the other attack, he's like, I'll just do a chains into this person, and just he did a penance dare, but I did sacrifice, and I did another tactics card, so I only had 2 power on me, and I had like 7 health, and he just still one-shotted, and I was like, okay, I guess you got it. But anyway, that was our round 1. Aaron, how did your round 1 go?
It went really well. We ended up playing against Quentin Austin with their Thanos CGR shenanigans. Their Thanos CGR did not have a great turn 2, and we, I think, dazed CGR back, and I think Thanos, and just ended up killing his, I think, CGR to just kind of take it on a scenario victory that was determined by the attrition that the Inhumans had. So yeah, he failed, we succeeded, dice were good. It was a straight down the middle kind of game, so there wasn't a whole lot to talk about other than that.
Cool. Jeremy?
Our first game was against Richard, who was kind enough to let us annihilate him. The only thing that can be said is he was annihilated and he rage quit on, I think, bottom of 2. We were giddy with, it was literally
Drunk
5
with
dice.
Yeah.
5 dice were doing 7 damage. It just didn't matter. It was one of those games, and
it's like, it's better to just call it than play it out.
Yeah, well, Richard.
I'm sure Richard was not happy.
Super pissed. He walked away after, I think, first turn and was like, I gotta walk away. So he walks away, and we're both looking at each other, and I'm like, this isn't going well. I'm like, but it'll calm down.
Break him.
It didn't calm down, and he was completely like annihilated. And we were playing. It was Cosmic and Hulk that was just going ape shit on him. It was not a fun game for him, which completely understandable. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
he was happy to tell me after round 2 that he had an average dice day because everything that happened to him against you happened to his opponents in round 2.
That's what I heard.
And he just absolutely liquefied his opponent's army.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god. Alrighty. So moving into round 2, Parker and myself got to play against Aaron and Jason. Always good opponents. We did a no CGR truce in round 2, so we didn't play CGR. My favorite thing about our match is, I'm sure, the least favorite thing about our match for Aaron.
1 fucking goal. 1 goal all goddamn day.
Turns out Captain Marvel 2 is not happy when she gets penance dared 3 times in a game.
Oh my
She's
God.
like, I got to 5 power. It's like, penance dare. She's like, I'm going to activate next. I have 4 power. Penance dare.
I don't know, Aaron, if Aaron, because I was sitting in a kind of a funny position at the table where I couldn't see Ghost Rider behind some terrain. Mm-hmm. And so I was looking at the board going, man, Carol is, in a prime position to start going off. She's got all the power she needs to do the binary thing. She's got lots of characters in range and lots of terrain and throw. Like, there's toast. She could really go ham right now. I'm not sure how to activate. So I turned to Brandon. I go, Brandon, I think we need to activate I don't know, like Strange maybe. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do
to
it.
try and kill
And
Captain
then
Marvel.
Brandon, he did no look, doesn't even look at me. Goes, activate Ghost Rider, and he just like puts down the long train.
I just picked
and
up.
I see him
picked up the 3
appear.
power and dropped
Yeah.
it on the table. I said, "Ghost Rider activates."
And I see him appear from behind a canister and like reappear next to her, and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, there we go." And Aaron, did you see him there? Like, were you expecting that to happen? I was just curious.
There's so much shit that you could have done. I don't know that expected is the right word. Was I shocked by it? God, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I think it was obvious play if you think about it, but it was really that the turn's constantly changing because we're playing Convocation with Ghost Rider. So every time someone activates, their power's moving because they're playing Inhuman, so they're moving power around. And then when they attack us and damage us, we're getting power on Ghost Rider. Then when you damage people, people are moving, so it's a rapidly evolving board state, which is why we had to spend so long looking at the board and thinking about stuff. And so like it's just like because Black Bolt did damage that turn, or like because so and so did damage with their attacks, all of a sudden Ghost Rider had 8 power on his second activation. And it's just like you could also walk up and flub the roll because she's got energy absorption. So if he has like 2 wilds on the blocks, it gets real bad for us.
I think he did significant damage into our Zemo. That's how I got his power because we purposely did not attack as much as we would have wanted to because fucking Ghost Rider's on the board, right? But when you walk up, he just walked up and fucking 4 dice, or not 4 dice, but did 4 damage into Zemo. Left him on 1, got the 4 power, plus his power up. So he started turn 2 at 6 before we'd made an attack, right? So yeah. When your first activation is to drive over and Pennant Stare, and then fucking Marvel 2 is just like, well, I guess I can 5 dice energy you in cover because you've got fucking books up. So like a fucking 2.5 threat. Yeah.
Yep.
She got no power. Keep feeding her power. Turn 3, you activate first. Ghost Rider, Pennant Stare. Like, I'm fucking done with both of you assholes.
Yeah.
You got really quiet then. I didn't know if you were mad at us.
Like, not actually mad.
and after a while, Jason's like, so what should we do? And you're like, I don't care. Just do whatever.
This game was over on turn 2.
Yeah.
You dazed 4 of our models turn 2. It was definitely
We
over.
did. I think it was actually 5, but...
Yeah.
No, because both our models that had extracts were not dazed.
Didn't we have 6 people, though? Was it just
Ronan
5?
and Quicksilver were on the other side of the board.
We had 6, so you dazed 4 of them. The other 2,
okay.
You left.
It definitely was not for lack of trying. I tried to get that fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
anyway,
Red Skull was the only one who did not roll hot fire that turn. Everybody else was... My dice were Parker dice for everybody else.
So all I wanted to do is test out Marvel 2.
How was she?
Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
How was she?
Jeremy, how was your game?
Oh, Lord. So we also had ups and downs. So we're getting ready to go into the story of how we had some downs. If you heard earlier, dear listeners, we played against Quentin and his friend. What is his name?
Austin.
Austin.
I hear that there's myths that Kenny's screams of rage are still heard in the Grand Canyon, echoing from wall to wall.
Man Bear Pig? Yeah.
Man Bear Pig is just screaming.
So, looking at what they had available, so I mean, they could have dropped any sort of 8-point model, 7-point model, whatever, and we could have as well. And what happened is we kind of list chickened each other, and we went slightly wider than we probably should have. If one person would have went tall, like super tall, that would have been amazing. But we both kind of stretched out a little bit, afraid that we were going to play like 24 points with 4 models or 3 models. Like, it was going to be silly. We did the Cosmic Ghost Rider dice off, back and forth. They won that one by one hit, right? It's always that way.
Yeah, so it comes out exactly.
Yeah, we lost Cosmic to that. And at that point, Kenny broke. And he was no longer the fun, jovial guy that we know, and became some sort of dark hatred mass that was pretty much done playing the game entirely.
Yeah. That's why we were so worried about you at WTC. It's like there was that moment when like something just snapped and we were like, oh God, this isn't Jeremy anymore.
Yeah. But I'm so used to Ghost Rider and Big Dice failing me. It didn't really bother me. I was like, okay, whatever. We kept playing, and it was one of those that just kept... it never gave back, right? Like, we do an attack that had a throw on it. Do the attack, do the throw, 1 damage, when we should have got an average of like 2 or 3, or we could have spiked and actually done something. And we just kept bouncing and bouncing and bouncing, and eventually we lost that game. But Kenny gave up at turn 2 and really stopped caring or paying attention, which kind of like, in a team tournament, that was kind of like, gosh, like, it didn't feel great. I wish he could have kept his head in it. And I think for his own psyche, he needs to work on that a little bit. Tends to break a little bit. But yeah, we lost that game. Did you?
No, I said I will send him an email. Let him know.
But you know what? The thing is Richard broke too. Like, this game somehow breaks people in a special way. I don't know why or how. I've been there. It just didn't happen to me during this tournament. So.
Yeah, after playing so much like Web Warriors and stuff, like I feel like I've started letting dice get to me more than they used to, and I need to work on that. But yeah, overall, I had a fun time. I thought we unfortunately got to play 2 rounds because it was we only had 12 players in a team tournament, so it was 6 teams. But yeah, could have gone to 3 rounds. We had a couple pickup games afterwards, which was fun. I like these silly formats occasionally. This is one of my favorite like throwaway formats. That's just fun to do every once in a while.
I like the format a lot. It's to me, it's super nice to be able to play a game with someone and discuss what you're about to do. That's always nice, and not have to kind of like carry the entire load on your own shoulders. And if it fails, you're like, I'm an idiot. It's like, no, dude, we talked about it. Like, that was just a bad roll. Like, it's fine. Just move on.
Yeah.
Are you prepared to announce in the cast what the next tournament's going to be? Because I am really excited about the next format.
Yeah, I mean, I said it at the store, but it is, we're going to do Battle Realms for the December tournament. Not the December tournament, the January tournament. Battle Realms is the pick band format posted on their site, so it's an official format. I've only ever played it once with Jeremy, but I had fun with it. The main thing is that you have to build like a flexible list. You can't have one plan because you will not be allowed to play your one plan. And I think would be really good to break up some of like the cookie cutter teams that you see every single time you go to an event. Do the pick band. I mean, I can pull it up real quick, but I don't want to misquote it. So the order is going to be the first player is going to pick a guy. Then they'll ban 1, pick 2, ban 3, pick 2, ban 2, pick 2, ban 1, pick 1. And so it kind of accelerates in the middle and then tapers back off. So you're basically only going to get one guaranteed model from the list you brought. So like if let's say, for example, I built a Kingpin list. I've got I think it's 15 characters. So I like for sure know that Kingpin is obviously crucial because if I don't pick Kingpin, then I'm going to lose him as soon as we get to the next round. My opponent will recognize that that's what I'm probably trying to do. So you basically get to guarantee your leader or your other most important model, and then your opponent gets to start banning things. And so you need to be really cautious to do that. When we played this way back in the day, though, actually the Infinity Gems were part of the character selection, so you had to if you wanted to take Thanos, he was 3 of your picks.
Yeah,
it was like oh boy. Yeah, no, so that was really weird. So it basically just nullified Thanos out of the game, which was a cool thing on its own. But yeah, it's super cool. So if you've got a really flexible, like, I'm just going to take every criminals thing and I'll have 4 leaders or whatever. It's like, well, yeah, you will be really flexible and it'll be really hard for your opponent to like scalpel out your important stuff. And that will allow you to like first pick, take Black Cat or Rhino or somebody important to your like overall strategy, but that isn't your leader. So there's some cool things like that. But yeah.
Yeah, it does allow you to do one of the things that I don't like about multi-leader lists, which is, when am I ever going to run this other leader based upon the models that I picked, right? Like, I could put Daredevil, Shadowlands Daredevil in the list, but I don't have really the models to support him because I built a Kingpin list, right? But this one you could actually flesh that out and, based upon what your opponent's doing. I am excited to do that because it lets you do exactly that kind of thing.
Of note, the pick ban is decided after mission selection and threat value choice. So you know exactly what you're playing when you go to choose your roster will be culled from 15 to 8, and then you choose of those 8 for your squad.
Yep. Also, you don't have to select tactics cards in advance. You just take whatever 5 you want for your squad.
I'm gonna have it like this is what I'm bringing for tactics cards. Just a big fucking brick, whole thing.
I mean, you could probably do with 12 to 15, but
Yeah,
you could
fuck
go
with it.
psycho with it, I guess.
Yeah,
God, I need all 3 copies of Heave Ho.
Yeah,
You never know.
I need all my Sentinels cards, unless in case for some reason I don't know, because there's no reason to bring my Sentinels cards. But
You have to definitely be on a timer.
Yeah. So what I would recommend, the easiest way to do it for me is because you got your 4 or 5 minute chess clock there, you just do maximum 5 minutes each, and you just use your clock. And if anybody hits 40 minutes exactly, they don't get to make decisions anymore. Basically,
Just come like what you said. Come with 12 to 15 different tactics cards that you think are going to work for your team because you know what you're trying to do. It's not like you're going to start. Oh, I have 260 options. What should I pick?
No, I mean that's. Yeah.
As long
I
as
was talking about the character pick ban, not the tactics cards. If you take that long to pick your tactics cards, there's a problem.
Well, pick ban should be relatively quickly.
It should probably take longer than choosing your tactics cards, though.
Sure.
Your chess cards should be like, these are the not banned cards that I'm choosing to take because they're the best 5. Which nice that you don't have to go like, oh man, what if I had brought Brace? It's like, well, you have Brace. Like, you just take whatever you want.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it's still governed by the banned and restricted list, right? I don't know if it actually says here, but we would enforce that, I think. Yeah, so you would still only have to be able to take 2 restricteds, but you would have access to all of them.
Yep.
I think this is going to be really fun. What would you guys feel about in the future just doing a points modified event, where it's we just played higher points than normal? Because I think that's one of my favorite aspects of the team-up format, is that it lets you play higher points. So you can, in my opinion, there's a lot of affiliations that are really strong because they're strong on the current point system. I think Convocation specifically struggles to build strong lists at 17 points. Once you get up to 19, 20 area, they start getting better. But they really struggle at low points because they have a lot of their affiliation is based around, you have your backline support characters comboed with expensive premium models, and that just means you end up having 4 guys, and it's really rough.
I personally am not a huge fan.
Okay.
But that's just because, Ghost Rider as a specific example, interaction with Marvel 2 aside, is stupid at higher point values. He has a bit of a detriment, right? He's not worth it unless you're being attacked, but you can, obviously, if you get 2 more people in your squad because you're playing 5 points higher, certain models become so much better. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's fair. Compounding leaderships and compounding global buffs and stuff like that definitely adds up.
I think there are seams you can try to exploit that are imbalanced more than the base game. That wasn't something Jason and I wanted to do at the team up tournament. We just wanted to kind of put some Inhumans, add Marvel 2 and run with it. That wasn't an exploitative seam that we're looking to engage. I think you could at higher point totals, and that's not something I really want to do. How about that?
Okay.
Nor do I want to not do it and then get mad when my opponent does it, to no detriment of themselves, right? And then just lose the game because they're playing degenerate shit that they should be playing if they want to win. And I chose not to. So anyway, not to say I wouldn't participate, but that'd be my 2 cents.
Cool.
I see. It's funny that you mentioned that. I feel like it'd be fun to play smaller game and do more rounds. Maybe I'm crazy and the game would devolve and it wouldn't be any fun at all. But I would be interested to know
more rounds. So do 3 models per player, but play 10 rounds?
I guess, but something like that. I would have to do the math to find out how possible it is.
Unless you play different missions, the scoring would be pretty similar. And models would die probably even faster because the lower point total means that a lot of people are weaker models in general, cheaper models.
Maybe it falls apart.
I think it works. I just think it gets a little boring because if every model is just 3-pointers beating on each other, it gets pretty boring.
Perhaps.
Yeah, I'm against the high point thing unless it's a team. I like that, but
you like that?
I will
only
say
on the team up.
Yeah, I will say though that I am intrigued about Battle Realms, and I don't think I would hate every other tournament being that way.
It doesn't even need to be that often, right? Like, even once every 4 months is a nice palate cleanser.
I like the idea of the variety that it offers. I think that might be good. I mean, I remember not hating it when we did it. It just took a minute. We had to figure out.
And it was also the first time we had ever done it. And so, like, we didn't really understand. And it was also, like, Wild Wild West back then. Like, everything was fucking crazy. It's like, Doctor Strange with the Time Stone was just like, well, fuck. And so, like, I think our first pick was something like, you took Corvus #1, and you're like, so you're either going to ban the Reality Stone or Thanos. And it's like we were some situation we were in. And it was just like, oh man, this is so weird. Oh no, that's what it was. I think you took, like, Corvus, and then I banned Star-Lord. And you're like, oh shit, that was my leader. It's like, yeah, you're supposed to take your leader first. So you're like, fuck. Corvus was really good back in the day. Anyway, another thing I've been throwing around, I really want to try doing pick ban in the missions. And so when you get to the table, you just reveal your 3 missions based on who won prio. And then your opponent bans one of your 3 missions. And then you ban one of theirs. And then you both just pick of the 2 you have left which one you want to play. So that way neither player gets to play the mission they want to play, but they also don't have to play the mission they don't want to play. So you basically always end up in the middle. That way there's never the extreme. So, like, if you don't want to play Researcher because you're like, I just fucking hate Researcher, it's like, well, you never have to play Researcher. That's a choice you can have. But then also at the same time, you don't get to play on Scoundrels. You'll have to play on, like, Infinity Formula or something.
I'd be fine giving that a whirl.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a fun middle ground that gives you a little bit more, like, onus over the game.
I would love a world where all the missions were included and you just drew 2 randomly up. You have to fucking deal with that. Yeah, you just have to deal with that.
I'm good with that too.
I mean,
I would prefer that, I think, over the current game. The only problem I have is, like, there's such a wide range.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
No, but I take it back. I would not like to do that, but solely because pay to flips exist.
No, but
like, every time I flip Spider Portals, I would just rage mode the entire game.
I think the one thing about the pick ban method we're going to do in the next tournament, and something like you look at your opponent's pick ban, some method of pick ban for missions, is that, especially for the mission ones, there's kind of 2 tiers of play, right? Of terms of skill, being able to, before the game even begin, look at your opponent's list and go, I see from the 18 models you brought, or I see from the 3 missions you selected what you are trying to do. And there is a level of familiarity with the game required and skill game with the required. And so I feel like it almost, maybe I'm wrong, I feel like it could heighten the difference between players, or rather more greatly impact the outcome of the game based upon experience, right?
I would generally agree.
Yeah. Before, the experienced player was already advantaged. Now they're even more advantaged because they're able to manipulate something they weren't able to before, and the opponent cannot as easily do that.
Well, I would also say that it's not necessarily experience, it's more game knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, the person with the widest game knowledge, which doesn't necessarily mean the person who's played the most games.
Not necessarily.
Right? And so it's just the person who understands, like, the format the most is probably going to have a stronger advantage. The thing I really like about this format is it instantly shatters meta lists. It's like, okay, what's the most like, let's just take Sam Ventures. It's like, okay, we start the pick ban. They choose Sam. I ban Iron Man. And it's like, okay, well, I pick, Bill next. Like, cool, I ban Luke. And you're just like, well, this is now going to be a very different looking list at the end. And you're like, cool. Given that everyone is going to be fairly new to this format, I don't think anyone coming here is going to be very versed in this exact format. Kind of everyone will be learning at the same time. And like I said, obviously, like you pointed out, game knowledge, like broad game knowledge is going to be very important. But I think what a lot of people will do, just as a rough starting off point, is you're going to ban the models you know are strong and that combo well with the models your opponent has already drafted. And so if they start off with, like, drafting CGR #1 overall, it's like, well, it's pretty easy to just, like, point at Star-Lord. Like, okay, Star-Lord's gone. So you just lost your Guardians affiliation. And, it's a pretty easy leap from there to know, it's like, all right, well, now that you've lost access to Crew with the Milano, now, like, bringing stagger models is more valuable, stuff like that. And so, like, little things are going to go a long way. Now, obviously, as the meta develops, wider game knowledge, like knowing, like how many leaders he has, stuff, like all kinds of little intricacies are going to start to develop. But I think, first off, people have the list of models they don't like playing against. And
Crimson
going
Dynamo,
to a tournament...
banned.
Yeah, exactly. Like, people have, like, their trigger models. Like, they just don't like... Like, I don't like playing against Voodoo. I think he's bad for the game. And so, like, I can just make that choice because no one's going to pick Voodoo first anymore. He's just not there anymore. So I can just get rid of Voodoo, and I can play a game and feel happy that even if I lose, like, I didn't have to play against the model that annoys me. I think that's really where I'm hoping to go.
Yep, that's why I think it'll be cool. Crimson Dynamo, go. Bill, gone. Like a handful of these annoying little shits that are just, gone.
All right, so we've just discovered that we're about to play the worst format ever is basically what we're going to do. I'm very excited.
Yes, very much.
Alrighty. Let's see. Jeremy, did you find that list?
I can grab it. Hold on.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, what do you want to know?
I was just curious. Did you guys see anybody responding to any of our questions over the weekend through the Discord? I assume not, but
No.
just making sure I didn't miss anything. I just thought it was funny over the weekend. We immediately saw impact of some of our guesses and models, and we don't have to do anything with it. But I just thought it was fun. I was very happy with the question segment you did last week.
Cool. Yeah, I plan on doing that about once a month, kind of once every 4. Like I can do something like that.
All right.
So we know the answer. The model in the core set that will eventually change the meta is not, in fact, Captain Marvel 2.
It's Ultron.
One game.
That's the data we have, sir.
Yeah, data.
We will move forward.
These are overreaction corner hot takes.
Okay.
Listen, I know for a fact that 2 people rage quit on one side of the table or another based around some of these questions.
Okay. What else was of import?
Best model in the game. The only thing that stopped Cosmic Ghost Rider was another Cosmic Ghost Rider. Clearly.
I don't know. Parker took my Cosmic Ghost Rider to the woodshed. So
All it took is a bunch of 4-pointers.
he just ran a bunch of 4-pointers at me.
Yeah.
And Cosmic Ghost Rider couldn't kill them all, so
I think
Yeah,
it's a script.
so that's a question mark. Yeah.
We have confirmed if you just take 4-pointers and move directly at Cosmic Ghost Rider, it's the only way to defeat him. In fact, he's got a 100% loss rate when that happens.
Of course, I am the only one who's tried that.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's a bold move.
yeah,
Secondly, we confirmed Doctor Strange, best model in the game.
yeah.
Confirmed.
Right,
Yeah.
lest our listeners get confused, the 4-pointers that we're running at Cosmic Ghost Rider are Ronin and Sabretooth 1. Like,
That's
Yeah.
not relevant. Yeah, so legacy models, like when you think about it, like these
Yeah,
are like
sure.
wave 1 models that are
Uh-huh.
like, down in the dumps, nobody plays them.
yes.
Turns out when Sabretooth rips you 3 new assholes in the middle of your activation, it's not great.
Yeah. Less than desired.
There was
Okay,
one
so-
activation in which there was one where Sabretooth did he attack 4 times?
Do we really
Is
have
he
to relive it?
spintered?
So I just want to ask you guys a question. Did you feel like we were spying on your game when it was happening?
No, not really.
Okay. Because I was watching from like behind one of the standees, the game. So when I saw that Parker was winning, I ran over to the other side. I was like, I got Kenny and Jeremy. I was like, all right, discreetly walk by their table, act like you're getting drinks. You got to see this game state.
Gotta come see this shit.
You got to come see this shit. Aaron's about to fucking lose his mind.
I'm not going to lose my mind. I can lose the
He's
game to
l-
Parker and it be
No,
within
no.
the accepted realm
It was-
of the possible.
It's
No,
possible.
that's all fine. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that this is going to sound so bad out of context.
Bizarro land.
And my goal in life is to remove context.
Yeah, I understand. No, Parker played a really good game.
Thanks.
Secondly, we've proved that Doctor Strange is the best model in the game. Turns out you have a 95% chance to play hammers when you bring eyes with Doctor Strange.
As it turns out, yeah.
It's very
Did you
nice.
actually play Hammers?
Yes, that was that game.
Jesus Christ.
CTR against Strange with Hammers.
Well, that's definitive. Lock it up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I made two indefensible positions on that podcast, and so far both of them have been defended.
Both of them facts.
Yeah.
What was the other one? The next thing, there was like a black cat just like ruined somebody's game the next day too. Like it was just hot take all over the place.
Mm-hmm. You have to kill Black Cat or she wins the game.
Have to kill Black Cat. She'll just win the game.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh boy, it was just a fun weekend. I had a really good time hanging out with you guys on Saturday, just screwing around at the store after the tournament too. So
turns out we're pretty cool people.
Yeah, I generally agree.
Some of us.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
I mean, one of us here wearing a white shirt is definitely not cool. Nobody knows and wants to tell them. Anyway, though, so yeah, super fun. It's been a while since I've been free and not like massively swamped with stuff that we could just like hang out for a day.
Yeah.
And so that was super cool. And normally when we have tournaments, it's a lot more like assholes and elbows, like sprinting around all day covering stuff because we have like 25 people there. And so I have to set up 15 tables in advance and then tear stuff down. And we were going to get dinner afterwards. And I have to like pack up the whole tournament and we go get dinner. And it's basically got to go home immediately. So yeah, it was nice to just kind of like leisure day, hang out at the shop, play games, chill.
Cool.
Welcome to what Aaron does every day.
Yeah.
I get yelled at for not going to the store today, so.
That used to be me. I used to be that guy.
Bitch.
I know, right?
Why did you go to the store?
My wife.
Oh, you mean like the actual store, not the game store?
No, like the actual store. Well, I went
chores.
yesterday, but there was a problem with our like Apple Notes, updating.
The shopping list.
Yeah. So we just put it on a shared notes, right? And so I went and I put everything on the notes. She's like, "You didn't get this, this, this." I'm like, "What on the fucking list?" Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Yes, it is." So she showed me on her computer, and I was like, "Well, look at this phone." I showed it to her, and sure enough, they weren't updated. So I was like, "I did my shopping for the week." She's like, "You're retired. What else are you gonna do tomorrow?" I'm like, "Whatever the fuck I want. That's not shopping."
Yeah. Alrighty. Cool. Well, fun wrap up. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This has been Brandon.
And Parker.
And Doctor Strange 2, the Immortal One.
And only shops once a week.
Fuck yeah.
And you've just listened to Hot Takes.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.
And we're back.
Nice.
Man, so good.
That was a really good episode. I can't believe we pulled that off.
I actually can. It felt very common for us to be
natural.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
just coming out the gate,
just printing A's over here.
It's unbelievable, really.
Yeah,
and that shit that Parker said earlier about those people, unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised he went that dark, but you gotta speak your feelings.
That's him. It just is. He just rock and rolls that way.
Hey,
Parker,
raw.
Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, okay. I didn't undersell it.
Well, I mean, I was watching it kind of in the middle and stuff, so I knew. Mm-hmm. I just didn't finish it until a couple days ago. 100% recommend to anyone and everyone I know.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
I have been working steadily. I am now chipping away at the rock that is my wife's opinion of animated things so I can show her. Every week or two, I will just... once or twice a week, rather. I will, in some way find a way to hint that maybe animated things couldn't be that bad. Like, maybe we should just watch it even though it's animated. And she is slowly going, you know what? I wonder if animated things could be good. I'm subliminally messaging her, and I think she's turning, is my point.
Yeah. It's very digestible for everyone. Like, you don't have to love anything about anime. Like, it really doesn't have anything to do with that.
There are no anime like the traditional anime features that you think of when you think of anime. There aren't present in it at all. It just happens to be an animated film that is set in Japan, but there's nothing anime about it in particular. It's so good.
The big white guy is a big white guy, though.
Oh, he's great. He also, I forget who did his voice, and now I gotta find out, because as soon as I found out who it was, I was like, oh my god, that's perfect. Oh, it's
really?
Is Kenneth Branagh. Do you know him?
No,
Super.
I don't know who that is.
If you saw a picture of him, you'd be like, oh, that's perfect.
Famous Shakespearean actor.
Yeah. Haunted in Venice, Death on the Nile, Murder on the Orient Express. Yes, also a lot of Shakespeare stuff.
Anything with Jane Austen.
Yeah.
All I know is like every episode was like a fuck yeah episode. Like there's moments in every episode where you're like, you're goddamn right. Or like moments where you're kind of like, oh, that's awful. Like kind of like welling up kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a more tragic story ever. I don't think so. But I'll stop talking that. I'll stop talking there.
Yeah.
I'll wait. I want to let other folks experience it. But thank you for getting on the train with me. I know I didn't have to work that hard. It's that good.
So at work, because now everyone is so invested in my job. So sometimes you have these employees that are kind of a pain in the ass. So every day they'll come in and they'll do something annoying, but usually they're young. They haven't figured out that like you can't just be annoying. Come in wearing something they're not supposed to, or doing something they're not supposed to. Like you've told them 100 times, make sure that you pull your hair back. Like you can't just have like crazy hair. Anyway, we've hired a guy. He's like 65 years old. He's worked a career. He is retired. He doesn't seem like he's an idiot, but he shows up. He's wearing bright white shoes the first time. And we're like, dude, you can't wear white shoes. You're supposed to wear black shoes with black pants. Oh, okay, got it. He's still wearing the white shoes. Then he's wearing this like do-rag thing. And we're like, you can't wear the do-rag thing. Every day he manages to come up with something that is either incredibly annoying. He's an old dude that eats hard candy. So during his shift, now everyone goes around in my entire like kitchen universe going, so what do you think about, and they make this popping sound because that's all he does during his shift is eat this fucking hard candy. Gosh. And now everybody does that. So then today, his new one, I never would have thought in 100 years, he comes in, he's got some sort of cross around his neck, a big ass chain, and some other necklace thing.
He's like, clearly trying to fuck with you, right? There's no way this is just all accidental.
He can't be though. Like, what would the point? I don't understand the point of it. Like, and today, like, I'm going through stand-up, and I'm like, okay, guys, so tonight the dinner is this, and all right, let's go. And I had to do it on purpose. I'm like, all right, uniforms. We need to get this together. Shoes, and if you have a necklace, tuck it in. I'm like staring at him. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I just don't get it. Like, he just doesn't exist in the real world anymore. I don't know. He retired, and he just shouldn't be in the workplace, I guess. It's driving me crazy.
Do you think it? I don't know if this is worth conversation because he sounds like a person who doesn't need to be talked about. But do you think it's because he is just like so much past the point of giving a shit about a career, so to speak, that he couldn't give a shit less about the rules? Like he's just way past it. That's why.
Well, the thing is he's not like an asshole about it. He just kind of like, oh, I didn't know I couldn't do that, and like honestly like that. But every day, like tomorrow, it'll be something. I have no idea what it'll be. 3 hard candies, and it's like so loud that he's like in like faces of like the residents. I don't know. But yeah, now I have to deal with all my employees going, so what do you think about? I'm like, will you fucking quit it? Quit it. God damn it.
Oh man, I am just going to ruin Aaron's world. I'm going to take all of his movies.
Oh no.
Dude, my movies aren't even on the top 1,000 IMDb. You can just stop.
Okay.
Well, what it's going to be is Aaron's going to be like, okay, my top pick, A River Runs Through It. And we're like, it's not even a comedy. What the fuck? He's like, that's the only movie I saw in the 90s.
Legends of the Fall, no other
Legends of the Fall. It's all Brad Pitt dramedies.
Yeah.
Drama, yeah.
Drama, all dramas.
First off, I want to name Fight Club before anybody else picks it. Like, that's not a comedy. What are you doing?
There's so many of these. See, I feel like I'm gonna shit the bed on this one because there's so many that I haven't seen in forever.
All I know
So
is
I'm like,
whatever we
I can't
pick.
remember if like I remember the ones I liked when it was the 90s and I was like 10, but I'm not sure which ones I would like as an adult.
Oh, I will
think
watch these in my list any time of day.
Mhm.
These
Yeah.
are bangers.
All I know is we need to turn our list in to Nigel first, make sure he approves it,
Mhm.
then we're allowed to talk about it.
Nigel's
Wait,
like the TVA. He goes in and he
Yes.
like snips out all the stuff that
Yep.
shouldn't be there.
Yeah,
you know how
we're
I
definitely
know
fucking with timelines.
Nigel hasn't listened to our last episode?
Oh no,
Because we haven't gotten a dissertation.
No, we just did.
Oh, okay.
We did today.
So,
but about the book or about the post, but not about what we said.
well, that's because his posts include movies that Parker specifically said don't hold up today.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I really think that Goonies and Neverending Story are totally movies that stand up in today's culture and climate. And if he'd listened to our cast, he would know that Parker specifically ranted about those movies and was like, oh, hell no.
I'm gonna
I
watch
see the
Goonies
Goonies
one
is
day.
fine.
I'm telling you,
I said the Goonies is fine, but Neverending Story.
it was
I-
Neverending Story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear about? Because that's the movie with the horse scene, right?
A tree.
Yeah.
Artax.
Did you hear about how they got the kid to act so well in that scene? He just wasn't doing it the first couple takes, so they actually drowned a horse. And they're like, "We're gonna keep doing this until you get the scene right."
That sounds like urban myth.
No, it's a joke. It's not real.
Okay, good.
You fucking crazy person.
well,
He's like,
apparently,
that seems a little extreme, honestly. Like,
so the urban myths about, and I don't know if it's true. I think it's true. I've heard it a million times, but like the old
Must be
animal movies, like Milo and Otis or whatever, they're like throwing animals
Uh-huh.
off cliffs, like, and that's where all the shit came from. For like, you cannot abuse animals, and like you have to have people watch, because apparently like the jumping scenes and shit that they're doing, like they're just going to their death. And I've heard it more than once. Like, it's one of those things you look it up and go, this is why you can't have animals in movies anymore.
Well,
they're
they
like,
had,
well, how many horses can we buy for our budget? Well, like 8. It's like, well, then just actually shoot the horse. And you're like, what?
yeah, they had.
It's like, well, if we can't get the horse to act like it's dead, we're gonna have to shoot it. Like,
If you guys have ever, there is a viral videos going around a little while called "Guy in a Buffalo." Have you guys seen that series, "Guy in a Buffalo"?
No.
I've seen bits of it.
Okay, so the idea was it was originally a pilot for a Western serial show, but like the height of Gunsmoke and that kind of era of television, and the purpose was this guy on a buffalo, but it was made in an era, like you said, like low budget, but they wanted to include the real animals, and so they have this guy on an actual buffalo, but the buffalo like is a fucking buffalo. So at one point he's trying to cross a river on a fucking buffalo, like he gets like like they lead the buffalo down to the water, and the buffalo just fucking turns over because it's a goddamn buffalo. And so the guy just like falls off and starts drowning, and it was just like, and like that's what they put in the show. I think that was the best take. In another one,
they're like, okay, go do it again. He's like, fucking no.
in another one, they wanted to show him like in a fight against like nature, and so he's getting ready to hunt a deer, and just spontaneously, in the span of about 30 seconds, he is mauled by a live cougar. Like straight up Ricky
Oh my
Bobby
God.
style, like, and there's no stunt double. It's a fucking cougar, and they slow it down as much as they can for the time, you know. And you could see this guy like fending off a cougar with his arm, and he just fucking punches it in the face. He just donkey punches this cougar, and you're just like, what the shit? It doesn't look at all. It's just real. It's just like, we don't have a special effects. We're just gonna have our guy punch a fucking cougar. Like, you're just like,
have you heard of the movie
it blows
Pride?
me away. Let's say again.
Have you heard of the movie? Is it Pride or Roar? I think it might be Roar.
Okay, no.
It
Lions.
takes place in Africa. It's a movie about lions, but the people who made it wanted to be very respectful of the animals in their natural environment. So there are no weapons on set to defend them from the lions. And there is, they just try and get as close as they can to the lions and film them. And they try and make a movie out of it. And like, hundreds of injuries. Like,
Oh Jesus!
like, everyone on set was mauled at least twice, and many people I think actually died. Like, it's like, okay, guys, maybe stop filming the lions.
Mhm.
They clearly are not happy about this. The guy on the Buffalo series, that's the one where the guy like nods. That's the nodding gif, right?
No,
It's not.
no,
I posted it in the podcast. That's not him.
no.
I'm pretty
That's
sure
that's
that's
Robert
it.
Redford. No, that's
Oh,
Robert
okay.
Redford. That's from shit. That makes you so mad. I can't remember the.
I thought that was the guy on the
No, that's
Buffalo.
not John Chisholm. But no, that's just Robert Redford in a movie. Is it John Chisholm?
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna grab some more. I'll be right back.
No, John Chisholm was Wayne, right? Yeah, that was John Wayne. I don't know what I'm thinking. Yes, Robert Redford. I can't remember the name of the movie. I actually don't recommend. I don't know if you should watch the little short series they have on YouTube, because what happened was The Guy in Buffalo only ever aired a pilot. And that's all they ever made it, of course, because it was just god awful mess. But apparently they found the footage of the pilot, but it had no audio. Like, the audio wasn't attached to it. It was just the raw footage. And so a bluegrass band called the Possum Posse, like, narrates it while singing a bluegrass song called Guy in a Buffalo, and like the verses of the song are what's going on the screen. It's a comical watch, but not for everybody. I've seen some people they immediately don't give a shit, but I've seen them cry over it. But
Yeah, the song I've
It's
heard
pretty
in,
entertaining.
they played it in Jackass when he's fucking getting chased down by a buffalo.
okay, there you go. That's the Possum Posse song. Yeah,
Yeah.
it went viral for a while.
All right, I'm starting to feel better.
Better.
I think
what was
I
wrong?
forgot to drink water. All of a sudden, I ran out of energy and my stomach started hurting.
One
So
of
now
those
I'm
key
going
features.
to have a Red Bull and chug 3 glasses of water, and then so I'll be gone for half the episode peeing,
There you go.
but I
Just
won't feel bad.
Just have some beer.
I
Isn't
should
that-
have gotten a beer. That's what I should have.
Isn't that a Charlie joke? It's like, man, I'm thirsty. I'm really dehydrated. Well, have a beer. I can't remember what's from that. I feel like it's an Always Sunny moment. It feels
I'm sure
Always
that
Sunny.
at some point there
Yeah.
is.
How
Oh,
are
boy.
the new episodes? Have you watched them yet?
I've watched about half the new season, I think.
Yeah.
It's just Hulu is not convenient for me to watch a lot of the time with the ads, so it's just I haven't gotten around to it yet. And I've been in the middle of a lot. I've mostly been watching anime lately.
Wait, there's more stuff since, because I thought I've seen all
No,
the.
the most recent episode. Oh wait, did you stop when they were in Ireland?
No, I'm going to.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I've
The-
seen everything.
The Fancy Nuts season is like the start of the new season.
Okay, yes, I've seen all
Yeah.
that.
I don't think I finished it yet. I might have, but I don't think I did.
I don't know how that show keeps like cranking out the consistency, but it kind of
Mhm.
it like it reaches a high plateau in like season 2, and then every once in a while it spikes up a little bit, but it's always just super consistent. I've never
Mhm.
regretted an episode. It's so good.
Even the episodes are banned from television.
I wish I could. I know I've missed a few episodes. I know
Mhm.
I know the Next Top Model. What that episode? I
Mhm.
haven't seen that one because it's gone.
Ever.
Yeah. It's not. I don't think it's on Hulu. I didn't check with the scrub brush. But whenever they got to that episode on the podcast, and they were like, "Yeah, it's been removed," and I was like, "Yes. Why have I never heard about any of the things they're talking about?" It's because it was removed.
Mm. I thought it was still on Hulu based on what we had talked about, but that's a funny episode. But like of all the episodes to ban, that's not even in the top 20. Like it's so stupid that they banned that one. Oh boy. This is normally I like to like watch all of one show and then like move on to the next one. I've been just jumping around to a bunch of different things lately.
Yeah, there isn't any good trash TV left. I've kind of burned through it.
Oh, I believe you because you watch stuff like Love is Blind and all that crap.
What you call crap, I call treasure crap.
I saw an ad for The Golden Bachelor on Hulu.
Oh, I won't watch that. No, thank you.
Yeah, and it's
That's
just
garbage.
like Gold Diggers, the show. It's like, this time he's a millionaire. And I'm like, what? Like, and he's like 60 and like all the women are like 30. I'm just like, are we really supporting this kind of behavior? Like, really? Like,
As someone
Well-
approaching their 60s, yes.
the thing that gets me about all the dating shows is like we're having such trouble finding love, and they're all fucking models, right? And they're all just like mashed together, and they're like, I think this is gonna work out, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I've never like all you beautiful motherfuckers, are you serious? No, you don't have like the girl who's taking pictures from below to get like the good angles, and then like fucking catfishes out somebody, and like it's this horrible. No, they're just all beautiful.
Yeah, everyone on the show is just so vain and conceited, and you're like, I wonder why you can't find anybody that cares about you.
Well, Jeremy,
like, you found. Go ahead.
I said, if you're looking for shows, person of interest.
Oh God, I've already heard.
It's not a bad show.
There you go.
If you like crime drama-esque like detective shows, it's all right.
Who's the main guy in that?
I don't know any of the actors' names. I do like the actress that plays Shaw. She was really good. I like the guy who plays not the main character, but the secondary main, the
Michael
the
Emerson.
Smart dude.
Yeah, Michael Emerson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Michael Emerson's good. He's in a bunch of stuff.
Amy Acker.
She's okay. I didn't like her character, but I like her as an actress.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what we're watching. We're in the middle of watching Haunting of Bly Manor or whatever. Like, we've been into those shows, like watching all of those, like all the haunted shows that are that by the same people. They did Haunting a Hill House and like 4 other different ones.
Scary stuff, yeah.
And they're all about the same temperature of a show. Like, you just get what you get with those. They're like watching an Adam Sandler movie. You're like, okay, that's what that is. Got it.
If you like shitty crime dramas that are bad, I would recommend Lucifer. Lucifer's been fun.
Oh, yeah?
It's not good, but it's fun.
It is. What? Hold on. Time out. No. it is the literal definition of fun, but not good.
That's
what
I just said.
Oh, is it what you said? I think you
I
said it was
it's
not fun.
good. No, it's not good, but it is fun.
Okay. It is actually okay. Okay, it is okay and lots of fun.
Yeah, it's fine. It has good acting, mainly. Good acting, mediocre writing, stupid premise, but it's fun. It's a really stupid premise, but it's fun.
Might be right
because
up my
it
alley.
knows.
I like dumb shows.
The reason it works, though, is because everyone in the show knows what they're making, and they make it. They don't try to be the super serious show. They know it's a joke, right? The show is a joke. That's the point.
What would you
like Psych.
Would you recommend Lucifer or iZombie?
Lucifer first. They're kind of in a similar vein, though.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Lucifer is better than iZombie, but it kind of depends on... I think the acting is definitely better in Lucifer, is why I would lean towards it.
I will agree there. They're different shows.
The 2 main characters really carry the show, and where like the surrounding characters are fun and interesting, but like it's really just like they're carrying the show on their own weight.
Yeah.
There's a funny, weird thing. Somebody was talking to me about the show. I had never watched it, and they told me about it. And they're a fan of the guy who plays Lucifer. And apparently, because apparently it wasn't originally on Netflix. It was on like the CW. And it got picked up by Netflix, is I think what he told me. I don't know if that's true or not. It's just what I remember.
Correct. It wasn't CW, but he's right. It was on a show.
Local TV stuff, yeah. And so there's a lot of scenes with his shirt off. Because he's a conceited sex addict, so like that's what he does. But they have to blur out all of his nipples in the first 2 seasons. And if you're not looking for it... Like, if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. But if you actually look, it's blurred out. What is wrong with people?
Wow. Okay.
And then once Netflix took over, you get a lot more than shirtless.
You get a lot more of his nipples.
Ooh. Do they hang dong?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's not that racy, but so the 5-minute overview is the show is he is the devil. He decided to leave hell because he was bored. So he goes to Los Angeles and buys a nightclub. And he's just having a good time. And he's misunderstood and he's not actually a bad person. And so he just wants to have a good time. And in the first episode, he... can't remember. It's like a drug dealer comes to his nightclub and gets shot. And so the police detective shows up, is of course super attractive. So he like follows her around for a while trying to help her solve the crime. And then he's like, this is fun. I'm going to do this now. And she's like, you what? It's like, no, I'm a police officer. You're a crazy person that thinks he's the devil. You can't hang out with me. And so she goes in to work the next day, and he's there, and he's convinced her boss that he should follow her around. And she's like, this cannot be real. Like, so then that's where the show takes off. But it's really funny because they do a lot of these little quippy remarks, like because it's really just stupid, but it's funny. If you like shitty TV, it's good.
Actually, I think I'm going to make her sign a contract that says that if we start Walking Dead, she has to continue watching it with me.
Don't
Because
even.
I really want to do that show because I did like it when I watched it. It wasn't my favorite, but it was good enough.
Are you just going to start from scratch?
Yeah.
I might start with you then, because I really want to watch it all the way through, and it's been so long since I've seen the early stuff.
Yeah.
That I don't really remember. And I know there's like parts where I just like, I was kind of like watching it while I was playing video games, so I didn't really get, I like missed huge portions. And I kind of want to finish it, so.
Basically, like, I watched all the way up until, I think a year after I stopped watching, they beat the one guy to death or whatever, and everybody freaked the fuck out and told everyone about it. So I never watched any of that stuff.
I watched a little bit past that.
Okay.
But yeah.
So yeah, I think that because it's a good show, and I think that she can get into it and watch it with me. But like, we need a contract because like we're watching 2 episodes a night. God damn it, and that's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
So it'll be really easy in the beginning to do those 2 episodes, but a month and a half in, she's either going to love it and continue, but there is several seasons of a lull where. Like, you both stopped watching at about the same time. It's just hard to push through those when you're like, we've been doing this for a month and a half. Are you really going to watch, like, these guys, like, not do anything for half a season? Because the first episode's a banger, episode 8's a banger, because it's the mid-season finale, and then the 16's a banger. But in between that, there's just a lot of fluff. Of not a lot going on.
I never really felt that, but maybe it was because I was like watching it passively while I was doing other stuff.
Yeah, when you're binging an entire season in a day and a half, you definitely get the feeling of
I could see that
nothing's going on.
Yeah, because I was definitely not binging it. There's a lot of shows that aren't great binge though. Like Breaking Bad's not very good binge. You really kind of got to watch one episode at a time.
Really I don't know. I love that, and I binged it.
You love binging it, or you just love the show?
Well, I've only ever watched it once, so I couldn't tell you whether I would have enjoyed it more if I watched it as it came out. But binging it did not diminish its appeal to me.
I think it is better savored because the character development in Breaking Bad, at times specifically, it is aggressively written. And so if you're watching it back to back, sometimes it's hard to remember that there's like weeks or months in between episodes. And the characters shift dramatically quickly. And so that's not really meant to be taken in. And also it's just kind of like heavy. And so it's like you kind of need like a processing phase. I think it's better if you watch it one episode at a time.
I'm of the opinion that, because I binged all of it and the last season came out like as I finished at the right time. So I enjoyed it like that. And I still watch it over and over. That's now like the people watch Office and shit like that at night. I watch Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Those are my go-tos now. Like, I just watch them constantly.
I still need to finish Better Call Saul.
I was really not that happy with the last season.
No, it's the last 2 episodes. The season's great.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Because you're good. Like, it's good.
It's just not the same show, though. Like, I get that it's okay for shows to change, and I don't hate that it changed. It was just like, the whole attitude of the show completely disappeared for me.
Those the last 2 episodes, honestly, I watched it all again when I had COVID last time. So I sat there and was just like, I'm just going to plow through this and remember how much I loved it. And I went through from first to the end, and I was like, I know how this ends. Is there another season I forgot about? And it's the last 2 goddamn episodes.
Yeah,
it's not a season.
Everything happens.
It train wrecks you there. Which, it's just so bizarre, because they change tempo, they change all of it. It's like, really? All of a sudden that? Okay.
But because at first it went from this, like, quirky, like, shyster con man show, and then it got a little bit heavier, and then it got heavier, and then it went just, like, off the rails heavy. I'm just like, like this is good, but it's just so different that it's kind of a culture shock. Like it's not what I wanted. I could have watched Slippin' Jimmy for like 10 seasons. Like honestly.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, for sure. I heard a rumor that they're going to come out with a show that's about the guy who owned the chicken restaurants.
Gus
Fring. It's called like Fring is the name of the show. Yeah.
I could see that. That actor's been in a bunch of stuff lately because people liked him in Breaking Bad.
And his character really didn't get fleshed out very well because like his whole deal and his whole like where he came from and all that shit, like it's very, you only know a little bit about it, you know?
Yeah. The hard part is his character, his personality they wrote for him feels like it'd be hard for him to carry a show just because he's so like reserved and.
Yeah, I think if they were able to bring like side characters, which really make a lot of the show, you know, they probably have some good ones. Like Better Call Saul was like Nacho was the big side character that everybody rooted for, and like saw all the conflicts. Like wasn't even, yeah. I mean, the dude's an excellent writer, obviously, so he figured out if that's what they're going to do.
What else did he write? Because he was famous before Breaking Bad, right?
He did some stuff for X-Files.
Okay.
But I don't know beyond that. I just know, you know, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Okay.
Because that's where he found the main character of Breaking Bad was an X-Files episode. I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about it.
Bryan Cranston?
Yeah. As working together, not the main
like
show.
Working with him, yeah.
He was like, oh, okay, this is a good fit. I like this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he can do the show or whatever, so.
Did you know that Jesse Pinkman and Walter White have a cameo on Always Sunny?
I did know that. I don't remember where, though. What was the deal with that? Because I think I saw
they're
a
in
clip.
the newest season of Always Sunny. They're in an episode.
Oh, really?
It's wonderful.
It's pretty great. Bryan Cranston obviously knocks it out of the park, and Aaron Paul's like Aaron Paul.
Did you watch The Judge or whatever on HBO with Bryan Cranston in it?
No.
So the opening of that show, it's not a, you know, anything to it, but the opening, the whole premise is he's a judge. His son hits somebody with a car, and the person he hits with the car is the gangster's son. So he doesn't want his son to die. So they do this massive cover up. And it's like the whole show is about that and how to live with it and all that. So it has the tension and like all the stuff of Breaking Bad of just like, Jesus, this would be awful. Like all that stuff. And it's really good. I watched the first season of that. And there's a couple seasons, I think.
Cool. All right, Aaron. I have a question for you.
Please proceed with your question.
Did you finish watching More Battlestar?
Oh.
I have. I'm most of the way through season 3.
Oh.
Have you purchased any shirts?
Did you get to my favorite episode?
Yes. Part 1 and 2 of Exodus is in the rearview mirror of Watched.
Did you like it?
I could not distinguish it from any other episode in the series.
Uh-oh.
But I did not dislike it. But when I get done, I was like...
Dead to me.
The fuck is Brandon talking about? Best episode of any TV series ever.
I'm sorry. I just want to be friends.
Nope.
That's the moment I see between you two.
I'm throwing your Christmas present in the trash as soon as the episode is over.
Why do you like that particular episode? I told you what they were going to do. They were going to piss me off, and they did it.
I mean, as soon as you said that, I was like, all right, well, he's not wrong here. Right? He has a right to be upset about that specific thing.
Sure, that didn't ruin it. It wasn't a bad episode.
It didn't ruin it, right? Yeah. I thought they earned it a little bit. No, the tension, the sacrifice of the show. I don't know. It's just such a perfect wrap up for that whole saga of the show, in my opinion.
It's no Longmire.
It's no poor man's version of a poor man's version of Yellowstone. That's fair.
Yes. Well, it still has the girl in it who's cute. Like, that's all I'm saying. If you want her, then you just watch a better show.
Katie Stackhoff is not the most attractive girl in Battlestar, but, you know, she is famous, so.
She's famous, and she really took Riddick to the next level. That's all I'm saying. Is anyone playing Diablo 3 ever since it got updated or whatever, or Diablo 4?
I have played it for about 10 minutes. since it got updated.
Yeah.
It's mostly just I have zero free time, not that I actively don't want to play it.
Same.
I got on and I was like button mashing and I was like, I can't remember where these buttons are, and I just fucking turned it back off. I'm like,
That's
not
the
today.
problem. Like it's the momentum, right? As soon as you quit playing one of those games, it's so hard to convince you to come back.
Yep. I do want to pick it up again. Mainly
Same
as just a money sink.
Did you all do the new Baldur's Gate? Anybody do that one?
I did
It's
not.
supposed to be really good.
If I could have refunded my money for Diablo, I would have bought Baldur's Gate.
I don't think it works that way.
I know. That's why.
You're like, I would like to trade this one for this one.
Well, if it was a Steam game, you could have, because as soon as they ruined the game, you'd be like, I'd like my money back because you just ruined this game.
I could never get into RPGs. I tried all throughout my life. I just can't do it.
Some are hit and some are miss for me. I'm not sold on every one of them ever, like some people are, but some of them are cool. But I don't like reading, and I don't like sitting through dialogue for hours. And sometimes that's what those games are, and I'm like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah, I like the D&D world enough that I probably would have gotten through it anyway. But that was the problem. Every time I tried to get into Elder Scrolls as a kid, like, it was just too much reading. It's just like, okay, like, I've been reading for 10 minutes, guys. Like, can I do something now? They're like, no. I'm like, you gotta read more. I'm like, I don't really care anymore. It's like, you lost me.
Yeah, RPGs.
I had a lot of trouble with Final Fantasy. I'd be playing that game, and I'd fall asleep and wake up because the dialogue was so long and stupid. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, the thing about RPGs is RPGs is the opposite of a lot of video game experiences, because it's, probably 80% like travel and story and like absorption of the world, and like 20% active engagement with a gameplay loop like combat. That's generally how it goes. And so you have to be cool with that inverse proportion that a lot of people, they want their text to be yelled at them over the gunfire, right? That's what they want.
Text yelled over the gunfire.
Yeah, that's what they want to have. A lot of people do. And when you're, or like, with a Blizzard game, they want you to, 2 cool cutscenes at some point, and then just let me bash stuff, right? So I think you have to be really cool with basically, the game being functionally a lot of cutscenes, because you're just sitting and listening and watching, somebody who mapped a face look really realistic and talk at you.
Yeah.
Talking specifically as somebody who is that person, like, I'm all about it. I will like walk through your story functionally by, moving my joysticks on my controller. That sounds like a blast. But I know some people are more interested in interacting with their game a little bit more often.
I just don't have the attention span or enough time. Like, I forget characters and storylines by the time I come back to it. Like, I don't know. I think fighting games and sports games are perfect for me. They last for what they last, and then you put them away. Diablo is the one that I spent the most time in recently, and then Elder Scrolls is not Elder Scrolls, but Elden Ring was good because it was like boss battle. You would always get hiccuped in a boss battle, so you just put it down and come back. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna battle this motherfucker for a half hour. I'm putting it down. I'm done. I come back the next day. Same thing. Like, if I can take a small piece of it and be fine whenever I want to leave, those are the games that I dig. If it's got like any sort of like, you need to commit 4 hours in a day, I'm like, nope, not doing it.
Yeah. Those are still like action games, right? You just drop into the action, you do some action until you're done actioning, and then you stop. It didn't matter where you started the action or ended the action, really. It's just,
For me, when it comes to those role-playing games, I just get so bored with some of the missions that I just stop caring. And so it's like, all right, what do you actually want me to do? And then it's like, if this, like, you're like, oh, this person like needs your help to go do this thing. It's like, once we get past like the third step, like, I've lost all interest unless it's like a critical plot point. And so like, I don't know. It's just too tedious and involved for, I don't know why. Because I can spend 30 hours building a farm in Minecraft. So it's not like the level of effort or meticulousness. It's just that like, your shit does not compel me. Like, it's like, it's not interesting.
I'm really glad that you pointed that out, because people have invited me to play Minecraft type games a lot, you included, to Minecraft, and I'm just like, the thought of building a settlement just makes me want to gouge my own eyes out. And I totally
Mhm.
get that I am doing a similar thing by sitting and listening to somebody's narrative and walking from one town to another just to hear more narrative, and
Mhm.
I get it, but
I can tell you the
That's it.
most mad or the most excited I've been in the last 6 months over a video game has been Minecraft. Like, me and my kids, like, trying to find our way out of a fucking cave, and all my shit broke, and I'm digging, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. And my kids are like, go, you'll get it. And I keep digging, and then water fills my whole cave, and I fucking die. All my shit explodes. Like, I'm like, really? Is this... Like, I was so fucking furious.
Minecraft is the ultimate, like, humbling game, because you could
Dude.
be wearing, like, perfectly, like perfect enchanted armor, like, all
Perfect.
the stuff, max
All
level,
of
blah,
it.
blah, blah, like, all the magic, all the equipment, all the skills, and it's just like, okay, and then it's like, fucking die to the stupidest shit. You're like, okay, I could fight 30, like, elder dragons right now, it's like, and, like, 10 endermen, and, like, all this stuff, it's like, and it's like, well, you forgot one of the tenets of the game, where just don't dig straight down, so you're dead, and you lost all your gear. You have to start from scratch. And you're like, God damn it! Like, there's do you guys, I assume, don't watch Minecraft on YouTube or anything?
I've seen a bunch of videos.
Yeah,
Not a
there's
huge
obviously
amount, but...
infinite content. There's infinite content
Yes.
for Minecraft. But there's one of the guys I used to watch called Philza. He's famous for playing survival, and so he doesn't play like multiplayer servers and stuff. He plays by himself on a server. And he plays hardcore. So if he dies, it's over. And so he's like, he famously played a world for, I think it was like 5.5 years on stream. Like, every second of his world was played on stream. And he died to a baby zombie because he fell into a cavern and took a bunch of damage and then didn't know that he was being attacked. He thought he was just taking
because they're short.
damage.
They're little fucking ankle biters.
Yeah, and so he's like running around. He's like, oh, well, I'll just like start eating. And then like when he turns to move away and starts eating, like 2 skeletons walk around the corner. He's like, oh shit! So he like runs away. And he's like, and he actually dies. And he's just like on stream, and it like deletes his world. And I'm like, oh my god! So he's like famous for that moment.
I think my kids told me about that. I think they watched that one.
Yeah, but it's just like the intricacies of like building up this giant world, like, and all of the little things in it, because it's like there's infinite things you can do in the game when it comes to sandbox building, and it's like he does things in a very aesthetically pleasing way, and so it's nice to see people taking the time to like do it right, and he's like doing it in a world where like things matter, like there's actually penalty if he like isn't safe about something, and so it's just cool to watch. Like the massive projects he undertakes are insane.
Just watching the videos of all the different stuff cracks me up. Like when they do the physics videos and stuff, and they're like, here's one way to do it. Here's the fast way. And you're like, what the fuck?
It always involves dynamite. It's like, just use
some
dynamite.
sort of craziness. Yeah. Like, that is
What if we
wild.
built a machine that uses a glitch in the physics to duplicate items, and you just duplicate dynamite? Like, and then you built a flying machine that just pushes that machine around, and you're like, what? It's like, yeah, and then we just carpet bomb the entire server. You're like, what? It's just like, it just eats the entire world like a caterpillar. What the fuck? No, yeah, that's so crazy. So Phil's one of his biggest projects, he did a nether base. And so
God.
he hollows out like line of sight from the point of view of one square. Like, he hollows out the entire nether within line of sight of that space.
Really?
And he uses a TNT machine to do it. But keep in mind, TNT machines are using a spatial anomaly glitch to duplicate dynamite. And usually 2 hits from dynamite will kill you. And so he's doing it in a hardcore world. He's already got like a year in on. And so he's like, all right, so I'm going to build this machine. And I'm going to be very careful around it.
Oh my
like,
God.
and so he's like, all right, so I'm going to like reach over and like push the button. He's like, and then run the fuck away. He's like, all right, I'm gonna have this like medallion on that resurrects you if you die. I'm gonna like have all this anti-blast damage armor just in case, and then also try not to fall into the lava because I'm standing on a sea of lava.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
He also like did a base in the end? Yeah. So if you guys have ever been at the end in Minecraft, you're just in space basically with floating islands. But if you fall into the void and you just die if you touch the void. And so he's out there like standing on like a single block digging down, and he's like, all right, well, if I hit 2 of these blocks, I die. So I was like, let's try and just get one of them. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, it's so stressful.
God.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna get some more water. and then I'll be right back.
Cool. Yeah, Aaron, I could get into Battlefield either. Like, I mean, there's people that are so into it too. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a totally fine show.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
I
okay.
have no issues with it, right? But I mean, I have some issues, but they're the same as with any show that's just horribly non-realistic, even for a futuristic sci-fi, right? But
Yes.
yeah, it's a totally fine show, so it's not bad. But I did, after I got done with the episode, I'm like, wow, that was his favorite episode ever. I'm like, huh? I kept waiting. I actually like stopped painting and just watched the show for that hour. Whatever. He's fucked in the head.
There's a lot of people are though. Some people are very passionate about that show, and again, it's one of those people are passionate about Doctor Who. Like, I've watched it, and I'm like, okay, that was clever and interesting, but do I wake up every day and think, God damn, there's another episode? Excellent. Like, there is those shows. It's not one of those. So now that you've beat the makers of Judgment, are you done with it? Like, you beat it, right? Like, you're done?
Well, no, I'm actually writing the rules for 2.2, so
I'll
let you know when the new rule sets out.
Jesus Christ. Oh. Yeah, they're sending me my stuff. I should get it in the next couple days, I guess. And I've got a whole bunch of shit. How many are those models all in a million parts, like everything? Or are they?
You are not going to have a good day. Yes.
Oh, are they? Yeah, because they're resin, so there's like 4 million pieces.
Yes.
Got it.
I mean, I did 15 at once my first time, and I was like, huh, they're not as easy as the AMG plastic you're used to.
No, and I mean, I
put together Judgment minis.
Yeah, I put together Kingdom Death Monster models.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, those people have no business making models. They're fucking phenomenal.
It's funny when you see an amateur do a model kit, and you're like, oh, I have been privileged this whole time. I did not know it.
Yes. Making incredible models does not mean you made them well.
Their more recent ones are made easier to like put together, if you will. And I didn't have any like huge issues. Like it's not like like the early AMG models were fuck me, I will never put together another head that's in 4 pieces, right? So all of these models are better than that.
Yeah,
but they're not. They're not the current AMG. Like super fit, like fits together like a glove, and there's no seam. No, this is a little more like, does this go here? I think it does.
Yeah, the 2 pieces of hair in the faceplate, those piss me off so much. Yeah. I'm like, do you understand my sausage fingers? Like, this is so dumb. Like, just trying to, like, I guess I glue it to my finger. Then I glue it to the hair.
That's where you start,
First, glue it to finger.
Yeah, glue the finger there, and then I have to grab, like, the little, like, stick to push on it so I can pull my finger off.
Exactly, yes.
Yep. Yeah.
If anybody actually wants some advice on assembling, I use poster tack. And so when you have those really small pieces, you just grab it with poster tack, put your glue on the other side, and then you use the poster tack to put the piece in place.
I'm certain all the poster tack is going to do is find some glue and make its own permanent inside of whatever fucking features. They're like, what's wrong with that model's face?
Filling. It is gap filling.
That's not a bad idea. Actually, my favorite tool for modeling is have some like
hammers.
No, they're like reverse tweezers where you let go of it and it grips it. Those are awesome.
They also make some with there's like a wire frame around it, and so it props itself up in the air. So when you go to put it down, it suspends the piece in the air.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Those, I think they're called extra hands is actually the name of the tweezers. But anyway, you guys ready to get going?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. I am fairly excited for our movie category this week. I've thought about doing this exact category multiple times.
The important part of it is we need to try and nail Aaron's.
If you take at least 2 of mine, I'm fucking leaving the cast.
All right, so the requirement this week is that you have to specifically try and guess movies that Aaron's going to name. Yep. And it doesn't matter if they're actually movies you like or not.
Exactly.
It's only if you think Aaron's going to name them. All right, so I think the the pick order is going to be basically free for all this week because we all basically got the same votes. Yeah.
Whatever.
Except for... Yeah. No, I mean, other than Aaron. Aaron obviously won.
Oh, okay.
But the other of us all got 3 or 4 votes. And so if I unvote for you guys, it's the same math.
Yes.
Actually, I win if I unvote for you guys. So it doesn't matter, though. All right, so we're just going to put Aaron last, where he belongs.
Mm-hmm.
First in our hearts, last on the list. All right, so Parker, you're going to start us off today.
Okay, so I'm gonna
Did
go
we say
for
what
the top.
the category was?
No.
Quick credit. It'll be in the channel. They'll know. So anyway, the
I'm assuming people occasionally listen to this part, but maybe I'm wrong.
topics this week are from comedies from the year 1990 to 1999.
So I'm gonna go with one that I have to take off the shelf first because I would be very upset if you guys took it first, and that is The Big Lebowski.
Ooh, I put that on my list. It's not near and dear to my heart, but it's a good movie that I've seen a few times. It's
not
definitely
really,
one.
I was looking at that one, and like to me, it has so much more than just being a comedy in the 90s.
Yeah, it's like
that
a
I'm
cult
like,
classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But awesome pick. I love the movie.
Mm-hmm. I think the thing for me is I didn't see it till I was much older, and so I just like it hasn't been part of my life for as long as everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, good movie. So next is me. I feel very good about this choice, and I think it might get Aaron, so that's the plan.
Yes.
Galaxy Quest.
Ooh, Jesus
I already
Christ.
picked it for something else, but otherwise it would have been on there.
There we go. All right.
That is
Damn,
my type
goddamn.
of movie.
Galaxy Quest. I'll watch Galaxy Quest all goddamn day. Like,
Oh, yeah.
fucking, let's go.
It gets
Galaxy
quoted
Quest
every
is-
day. Absolutely.
Yep.
First, I think I've said this before on the cast, but the first movie I ever bought as an adult with my own money was like, I mean, as a kid, they give you money to buy a movie, but it's like, no, the first movie I went to Walmart the day after I got my first paycheck, and I was like, I'm fucking buying Galaxy Quest.
Okay.
All right, Jeremy,
You have one last opportunity to ruin my fucking life. Go ahead.
do it. Fucking
I think
do
we
it.
have more than one opportunity. But go
Shut
ahead.
your hole.
Oh man.
That's true, because you're getting last pick, so we're going to have 6 more picks after this to get your last one.
Not a chance. Not a chance. to
Not
get my
a
last
chance.
one. No.
So, man, these are all so impactful. However,
Mm-hmm.
there's one of them I went and saw, and I laughed, and I actually laughed till I cried on several parts of it, and it's Office Space.
Fuck
Right,
you
so
and your
good.
fucking
Boom!
dog you wrote in on.
Mike Judge,
Got
master
him.
of directing,
Got
him.
him.
writing.
Got
Yeah.
him.
Dude,
God
Mike
damn.
Judge movies are like right up my alley.
I feel like I'm Parker wielding the strongest model ever.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
So I actually gave you a break because there's one I know has got to be on your list, and I chose not to say it. I took Galaxy Quest instead.
Mm.
All right.
All right, what's left on
Aaron,
your
you're
list?
up.
Go ahead.
I'm going to save my third one that you definitely aren't going to pick.
Oh,
We're
okay.
gonna go with
He's metaing us because he
Number-
knows.
2 and 4. Number 2, which might be my favorite movie ever, is Dogma.
That was what I almost picked.
Mm.
It's a good one.
And then number 4 is really tight competition, but we're going to go with My Cousin Vinny.
Ooh, that was also on my list.
I almost called that one.
I think you've actually said that one before.
I think I have.
Yeah, Jeremy, you have. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Utes.
Yep.
That movie is so quotable. Like, because there's so many just unique lines that, like, you could never in a million years would you think. But yeah, so good. Okay, so Jeremy, it's back to you. Second pick.
Back to me. Second pick.
Yeah.
So there's a handful of movies in this kind of vein, but I'm just going to take the one off the shelf that deserves to be put there. Dumb and Dumber. Quote it
Also
every
on
day. It's on in the background of almost everything I ever do. It's just fucking perfect when it comes to stupid comedies.
Was that the first big Jim Carrey one? Was that like the first one that
No.
exploded, or was that
I think
like
his first
Mask?
one was. I think his Ace Ventura was the first.
Ace Ventura was first. Okay,
Ace
I thought it was
Ventura,
after
then
Mask.
it was this. Yeah.
Okay.
One of my favorite things about Dumb and Dumber is it was a super classic actor. I think it was Anthony Hopkins. We met Jeff Daniels at a awards ceremony thing, and he stopped him and he said, "Your work with Jim Carrey." He goes, "What?" He goes, "Your work with Jim Carrey." He goes, "You mean Dumb and Dumber?" He goes, "Yes. That is the most honest and true friendship that's ever been put on cinema." And he was like, "Oh wow!" He's like, "Wonderful." It's like that's cool, but it's an amazing movie.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so me next. This one had to be on someone's list, in my opinion, or I would have disowned you people. Tommy Boy.
Yup.
This movie it's so perfect for being what it is.
Well, not its sequel, Black Sheep, which is not a
Black
sequel,
Sheep
just
is
exactly
great.
the same movie.
Yeah,
again.
it's just the same movie again, which is turns out that's all we wanted.
Yeah.
It's just more. It's like you don't need to make a sequel; just make another good movie.
That is one of the strangest cinematic things ever to happen, where they just make two movies, same actors, different plot completely, same movie.
That was the 90s in a nutshell. It was just like, what if we just got like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in another movie? And you're like, okay. And like, what if we got David Spade?
But they were different plots.
It was, but like it's Black Sheep's actually different. Like it's different. The whole point of the movie though is it ends up just being, what's his name? David Spade and why am I blanking on
Chris Farley?
Chris Farley. David and Chris just being alone for most of the movie. And that's the key. Is like when you take them out of society and it's just them being dumbasses together, it's perfect. Okay, did you actually, real quick while we're on the topic, did you guys see the interviews with David Spade on like the making of later? And they're talking about the scene where they're on the side of the road and he hits him in the head with the board. And then they go to the diner and like the Jesus what happened to your face line is like completely improv because he actually had a bruise on his face because they hit him with an actual 2x4 because the balsa wood didn't look real. So they said they hit him in the head like 14 times and they were like, fuck it, get a 2x4.
That sounds right.
Jesus Christ. All right, Parker, got your last two picks.
All right. Since I'm just going to go ahead and throw this hard because I'm actually going to throw the vote, that is, because I know I'm not winning this, but I'm going to pick two movies that I love from this era so much, and that's the point of this, is to talk about movies we appreciate. And the first one is Kurt Russell, Captain Ron.
Captain Ron's great.
Captain Ron is an amazing movie.
That's one of those like people forget about too. Like it's that's a good pick.
Yeah, and the last one is the one that started it for me. And I know he kind of devolved into really terrible movies, but this one I loved. Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo.
God, that was a good fucking movie.
I love Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo.
I actually like the hot chick with him better.
The hot chick was not terrible, but man, Deuce Bigalow was funny.
Deuce Bigalow was so funny.
Do you spell gigolo with a G?
Yes.
Yeah.
I always thought it was a J. Wow. Okay.
Pay me $10.
You paid me $5. You owe me like $2,000. He's like, no, you paid me $10.
You don't pay me for this drink. I'm going to stick this swizzle stick straight up your
right up in your pee hole, sir.
That's Norm Macdonald too.
Rip Norm Macdonald.
Yep.
There was Amy Poehler.
I love that everyone here knew who the bartender was. He's in 3 fucking seconds of that movie.
Yep.
There were so many wonderful comedic actors in that, and a lot of them before they were really stars. Like Amy Poehler is one of the women he dates
with the Tourette's.
Yeah.
Well, that was a ball hair. What we need is a strike hair.
Yeah. Then he gets into the fight with the woman, and then she finds out whose house it is. He's like, and she like takes her shoes, like, don't tell so and so about the shoes, and walks out.
Antoine.
Oh yeah.
Don't tell Antoine.
Man whore
about the shoes.
Is he pussy?
Yeah. You're the best he bitch in my entire man stable. You do things that would sicken the average man.
What is it? Michael Clark Duncan who plays like the overweight black woman, or is that just?
Oh no, that was just another actor.
Okay,
yeah, that was just that was not.
But the scene where he goes in, he's like, I think there's a mistake. Did you say steak? Like,
did you say steak?
We cried over that scene.
When they're at the courthouse and he pulls a chicken leg out of the breasts or whatever and starts eating it. Oh my god.
Every That movie is dripping in.
And again, like that it just maxed out, right? Like it was as good as it possibly could have been for
So
what it
good.
was.
Right.
Okay,
I'm glad you guys felt the same.
No, it's a
Appreciate
good
that
movie,
one.
but no one's gonna pick it as their favorite,
No,
right? So it's
no.
like the Ugly Duckling,
Uh-huh.
but it is good.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna complain about watching that movie.
Yeah.
So this is really hard for me. These two movies are like right there with each other. I watched them both a ton as a kid.
No way you're stealing mine. Can't do it.
No,
No matter
I'm
how
not,
hard
I'm
you
not trying
try.
to steal you. I'm being me. I'm not trying to be you.
Mm.
And if I picked it, I would lose, so I wouldn't want to do that anyway. I have to go with the one I think I actually like the most. So I think I'm going to go with Happy Gilmore.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Alrighty. Jeremy, last pick.
You caught on to the Adam Sandler train. I'm going to follow you. The one that I thought he was the most, like, lovable in Wedding Singer. Like, that one just made me
Wedding
like,
Singer's
that's an
good.
actually good movie.
Yeah.
And is fun and, like, has a heart and all that. Like, I really enjoy that one.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to
I've seen
catch
it a
on.
million times.
No one's going to wear that outfit. That is ridiculous.
No, trust me.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's wearing MJ's outfit.
Yeah.
With the white glove.
The glove, yeah.
I used
Alrighty,
to be
Aaron.
stronger.
What is this silly movie that no one's ever seen?
It's an amazing movie. The Full Monty.
Mm.
Is that where they all get naked?
Duh.
Yeah, yeah. I've
Have
never
you
seen
seen
it. I have not seen
Okay.
it. I just remember what it's about.
Parker, have you seen it?
Yes.
Brandon?
Mm.
I called it at the beginning. Only Parker would have seen it.
I don't know why you're happy that you like movies that nobody has seen.
I just am happy
I
that
love that
I
I-
know you so well that you
I love
refuse
that
to
I
watch
made it.
good movies.
I just
Like,
love that I
guys,
immediately
check it out.
qualified
This
as
week,
nobody.
I've got another 3 movies no one's ever heard of. It's like, you're definitely going to win the vote, bro.
I
gonna kill
think
it.
I think Full
Perfect
Monty
score.
is drastically
Monty.
underrated. It is
Okay.
one of the perfect combinations of drama and comedy that exist. Like I understand
Right.
there's like stupid comedy like Dumb and Dumber. Like it is just pure comedy. This
Give me
is
the-
a very funny, witty,
Give me the 1-paragraph synopsis. Go.
out of work construction workers in England have to raise a bunch of money, wonder why women get easy money for taking their clothes off, figure they can do the same thing.
So they start stripping, or
Yes.
okay,
But it's picture like, out of weight, overweight, chubby
No,
construction workers
Mhm.
that get they just want to strip, but then I guess someone puts out that they're actually going to do it all,
Mhm.
take everything off, aka the Full Monty. And now the last part of the movie is about whether they're going to or not and the insecurities they have. So it is a combination comedy drama that I just think is a really good movie.
okay.
It's an English film.
It also like you said, it very not cleverly, but it very intently touches on some like serious subjects,
Mhm.
while also being ostensibly about these men who have promised to hang dong. It is an interesting movie. I say interesting because it took some risks and it worked.
Cool.
Oh, man.
What's
Could
up?
have picked Swingers. I forgot about that one. I've seen that a million times.
Swingers. I don't know
Swingers.
that one.
You never seen Swingers?
Mm.
Vince Vaughn? That entire group of dudes make movies like all over the place. John Favreau? That's where he came from.
You're saying
put
I should put it on the list?
Put on the list. That's where the whole, like, when people say Vegas, baby, Vegas, came from that.
Th-
Should you double down? You always double down. Well, I just fucking lost. Not always.
Not always. I also put Wedding Crashers on the list.
Is that a 90s?
No,
No.
I'm putting it on the list
Oh,
for me to watch.
yes. That's an amazing
After the
movie.
Full Monty, sure.
No,
Mm.
that's hold on, wait. Don't watch
Mm.
Do not watch.
Dog
It-
Skull movie.
It was the. Mm.
Hold on, wait. Monty Dong. All right, I got a list going.
Oh, something about Mary. Fuck, I missed that one too.
Oh yeah, I that was a fun one. It didn't grab me as much as everybody else.
The
I liked
Waterboy,
it.
son of a bitch.
Waterboy's good, but I think I'd still put Happy Gilmore. Like it was so like okay, so first of all, you should not let 8-year-olds watch Happy Gilmore, but it was very informative for me as a child. Like, it warped my brain.
Yeah.
I think my favorite one of his movies at that era might have been Big Daddy. I really liked
Big Daddy
that
was
movie.
later, but yeah, it was like the last. It was like the capstone of that era.
It was the most like mature of all of them, and I thought it was also a really funny movie. And it still had some of the slapstick stuff, like lamb and tuna fish, perhaps spaghetti and meatball. It still had that kind of goofy things, but it was more serious.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I tell you what, you could make another list, right? And the one you include, what I'm about to say, is going to be the one who wins. It doesn't matter. If you put Army of Darkness in the 5, category 5, and put any fucking other 2 movies, that's the one that'll win this week. Army of Darkness is the bait. I'm telling you.
It's not in the 90s, though, is it? I thought it was in the 80s. What year did it come out?
Army of Darkness is 1992.
92.
I don't think Army of Darkness carries the same weight it did like 10 years ago or 20 years ago.
However,
with our demographic that are voting, I think you
actually, so I've actually experienced the opposite. Every time I bring up Army of Darkness, people are like, "Oh, I never saw that." Like,
Austin Powers.
Yeah,
Austin Powers. So that was weird getting honorable mentions. That was what I was trying to split Happy Gilmore with. Is Austin
Wayne's
Powers?
World.
Groundhog Day was one of mine. I really
Groundhog Day is good.
I had Clerks and Clueless.
Yeah, again, I didn't see Clerks till I was older, so Clueless is its own thing. Like,
Friday! Oh my god, I love Friday.
I remember that phenomenon. Friday. Everyone thought Friday was the greatest movie ever made.
God damn it, South Park movie. I already picked it, but that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Alrighty, you guys got anything else you want to cover? We got plenty in the can.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for coming out, everybody.
See ya.
Hopefully
Thursday.
You had fun. Thursday. Aaron, I will probably have stuff for you tomorrow. I will definitely have stuff. I might have everything. I was in a hurry today and I put the wrong thing on the printer, so it's currently not printing your smoke. But
how am I going to make
plan
smoke
is
terrain tomorrow night?
As soon as we're done here, I'm going to go put the smoke on the printer. I just need to actually do it.
Okay.
But I won't have time to reprint it if it fails. So,
It's not going to fail.
That's the plan.
Okay, good.
Alrighty. Goodbye, everyone.
Night.
So long.